right now. Win a home series. Phillies are really having trouble winning here. And will Billingsley shake off that NLCS problems he had against the Phillies last year? The Dodgers hope so, and the Phillies hope he struggles again, because this guy is really a quality pitcher.
Well, here's Juan Pierre. He's riding a 6-game hitting streak since being put into the starting lineup. And Hamill starts him off with a fastball in the inside corner. So we're underway from South Philadelphia. Pierre hitting .411 overall, no homers and 7 RBIs. And he took over left field and gave this Dodgers lineup a very different dimension when Manny Ramirez was suspended for 50 games for violating Major League Baseball's substance abuse policy. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike now to Pierre.
Pedro Feliz comes way up on the grass at third just in case Pierre bunts. He used to bunt a lot, not as much anymore. Now you see where Pedro's playing him.
Well, Pierre had 3 hits in this series in the first 2 games, and he's retired to start the top of the first inning here.
Hamels threw him all fastballs and then a changeup and got him way out front.
Well, Wheels, that's what the Dodgers are missing without Manny Ramirez. In 27 games, he was among the leaders in the National League in batting average. He had 6 home runs and 20 RBIs, and they are 6 games now, 7 into his 50-game suspension, and they're 2-4.
Well, they have a tremendous offense even without Manny Ramirez, but with Ramirez, you know, they are the complete team offensively. Pierre gives them a little more speed, a little more versatility that way, but Manny Ramirez gives them power, run production, knock in runs. I mean, Manny Ramirez may be one of the greatest right-handed hitters to ever play the game.
Rafael Furcal will stand in for Los Angeles, batting in the number 2 spot. His life changed a little bit when Manny was suspended because he was the leadoff hitter for the Dodgers. Saw his numbers overall hitting .244, a home run and 8 RBIs. And a changeup hit back toward the middle, a base hit for Furcal. So he's aboard with 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Following today's game, the Dodgers will head to Florida for a 3-game series, and it's at that point that there's some speculation that Manny Ramirez will address the team.
Well, he lives down there. He lives in Pembroke Pines, which is, you know, Pembroke Pines is almost right at Dolphin Stadium. It's very close to where they're going to be playing the game. So, yeah, there's some idea that he could conceivably come over, see his teammates, and whether or not he'll address them or not, you know, I'm sure we'll find out about that.
Well, Joe Torre was saying after the suspension that the worst thing a person can be is a disappointment to someone else. And Manny feels like he's a disappointment to a lot of folks within the Dodgers family.
Well, and he should.
Yep. Orlando Hudson hitting .348, 3 home runs and 21 RBIs. He is 6th in the league in hitting. That might give Furcal a chance to swipe a bag here, or attempt to swipe a bag here in the top of the first. 2-0. Toss over to first base. Ryan Howard got tied up a little bit on that throw.
He almost picked Ryan Howard off. He started, a lot of his motion was towards home plate and then threw over to first. And be careful you don't balk when you do that.
.3-0 the count to Orlando Hudson. Hudson is 3rd in the league in runs scored with 29. And he is tied for first in doubles. This Dodgers team is a double machine. They lead the National League in 2 base hits. There's a strike, so it's 3-1. Andre Ethier waits on deck.
It's a good running count right now if they decide to do it. It's not hit and run necessarily, but just run and hit.
Well, they don't run, and the ball is popped up down the right field line. Nobody's going to get that one. And the count is full, 3-2.
Throwing change up behind in the count there, 3-1 change up. Now they probably will run. Furcal taking a long look over at Larry Bowa over at third.
Well, Orlando Hudson is 2nd only to Ryan Zimmerman in the league in hits with 49. See Beltran there with 47. Tejada with 44 base hits on the year. Another throw over, and Furcal didn't look like he was flinching at all.
Yeah, and you shouldn't in that situation because you're not You don't move until the pitcher throws it. You're not trying to steal a base here. All you are is in motion on a 3-2 count. Ostensibly you stay out of a double play, or to help some other ways.
There goes for call. The 3-2 fouled off. So we'll do it all over again. And as Rafael will go back to first base, you see what he's done during his career. Pretty good percentage. He has stolen 78% of the time. 262 steals during his career.
He used to be one of the best. He's had a lot of back problems the last few years. That's kind of limited his running.
He's off again. 3-2 fouled off again.
Well, Dodgers doing what they want to do here in the first inning, and they're making Hamels work.
Well, the Dodgers have not only made the opposition work in the first inning, they've scored a lot of runs. A major league leading 37 first inning runs in 35 games. They've scored at least one run in 19 of their 35 games this year. Again, a foul ball, and that's the 8th pitch of this at bat. You see that number in the last 10 games. They've outscored their opponents 18-0 in first innings.
Well, and he keeps throwing them fastballs with that runner going, and it's almost like he's protecting on the fastball and looking for a changeup. And he keeps fouling the fastball off because he's late on it.
For call goes again. Changeup on the inside corner. Called strike 3. They've got for call tied up, and he's out. Nice job by Howard blocking the first base path, and the inning is over. So Cole Hamels gets Orlando Hudson on strikes to finish off the first inning. This was actually a curveball, and then Ruiz very quick to get the throw to second. Series, take the series and finish up this homestand. The lineup, which is brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. Back to the old lineup. Jimmy Rollins leads it off at shortstop. Shane Victorino, the center fielder, bats second. Chase Utley, he struggled during the last 3 games. In fact, he struggled during this homestand. He'll bat third. Ryan Howard, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Jason Worth is in right field hitting 5th. Raul Ibanez, the left fielder, bats 6th. Pedro Feliz hits 7th at third base. Carlos Ruiz does the catching, batting 8th, and batting 9th, of course, is left-hander Cole Hamels. And they're facing Chad Billingsley, who is looking to become the National League's first 6-game winner in this his 8th start.
As only 24 years old, to be 25 later during the season. Lost his last time out and is off to a great start at 5-1. Last year he had a tremendous year for the Dodgers and then really struggled in those 2 playoff games with the Phillies. Here's our Southwest Airlines scouting report on him. One of the best in the league right now, and he has a tremendous curveball. He'll also throw an above average fastball. He'll throw a slider or cutter, and he also has a good changeup. Guy's a quality pitcher.
Well, Jimmy Rollins will lead things off against Chad Billingsley. And Rollins hits the first fastball down the right field line. It's a base hit, and it's going to trickle over toward the corner. Ethier misplayed it. Rollins going to second. He'll hold up there. It's a stand-up double, and that's the 3rd hit of the series for Jimmy.
Well, Billingsley had a lot of trouble with his command last year. Walked quite a few batters against the Phillies in postseason. Jimmy Rollins goes up, takes the first pitch, hits it right over the bag. Then it dives on that wet grass out there. And the ball girl trying to get out of the way. And now here comes Ethier, and Jimmy Rollins content with a double there. Don't want to get thrown out at third base to lead off the game.
Well, and as it happened so often last year in the postseason, Wheels, this ballpark got into Chad Billingsley's head. The loudness of this ballpark got into his head. And Victorino shows bunt, and that ball hit him. He's limping out of the box.
He's saying it hit him on the foot.
If they're going to look and see if there's some shoe polish. No, Jeff Nelson saying no, get into the box. And the count, 1 ball and no strikes.
Now you want to check with the third base umpire, who in this case is Bob Davidson, because he would have gotten the best look at it. Nelson's looking to see if there's anything on the ball, and
well, it didn't look like it hit him, unless it grazed him as it skipped up off the ground.
Can't tell.
Kicked up a lot of chalk in the back of the box. 1-0 the count. And Victorino lays down a beauty up the third base line. Billingsley off the mound, and he just gets Victorino as Rollins moves over to third.
That's a great play by Billingsley. Tremendous bunt by Shane. Looked like he had a chance to be a base hit off when it left his bat, and Billingsley was on that quickly and threw him out. Here it is. That's a very good bunt. Look how quickly Billingsley, who's a big guy, got into that picture. He has really strong legs, big legs, and watch him plant, bare hand, and throw it. And you know what? He had a bare hand then. If he doesn't bare hand, he has no chance.
Well, Chad Billingsley, who makes his offseason home, how about this, in Reading, Pennsylvania?
He broke his leg up there slipping on the ice this year. They have him down here as his home in Surprise, Arizona, but you're right. I know he does live in Reading.
He's from Ohio and makes his offseason home in Reading, PA. And as Will said, he slipped on the ice, broke his leg, and they weren't sure if he was going to be ready for spring training. Infield is back for Chase Utley, and Chase takes one low.
No, that won't happen if you live in Arizona.
Well, that's what I was thinking when I saw that. I saw the same thing where his hometown was Surprise, Arizona. I'm thinking, well, they must have had some kind of a hailstorm or something.
I remember that being in the paper that he broke his ankle with one of those ice storms, or broke his leg in one of those ice storms up at Reading. What are you doing living in Reading? Not that Reading isn't a great place,
town,
but not in the winter necessarily. If you have a home in Arizona,
well, it would be akin to really living where we live in the offseason.
That's correct.
Well, the Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Ruth Harnish of Lebanon, PA. If Phillies hit a home run in today's game, then Ruth will win $100. Compliments McDonald's. Introducing McCafe coffees at McDonald's, a new line of lattes, mochas, and cappuccinos. Chase is 0 for 8 in this series, and his average has dipped down to 286.
This one you really want to get a run off a guy like Billingsley right now, and they're handing you one. Tom said the infield is back, so contact will get you a run here. Contact in the infield.
See what Chase's numbers are with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. Taken all the way. There's ball 4. The Phillies have runners on first and third here at the bottom of the first inning. As Wills mentioned, Billingsley last year walked a lot of guys against the Phillies, and Joe Torre knew that the postseason affected Chad Billingsley an awful lot. In fact, he tried to talk to Billingsley during the offseason, and Chad didn't return any of his phone calls. And as Joe said, he's a very proud young man, and he just wanted to remind him that some of the best in the game, who went on to become the best in the game, didn't pitch that well at certain times during the postseason, like Andy Pettit and Dennis Eckersley and Mariano Rivera.
Well, they questioned him not throwing at somebody in that playoff game too last year, the first one after Myers had thrown a couple pitches. Remember he threw the pitch behind Manny Ramirez, and they thought maybe he had buzzed the tower of another guy, and then Billingsley didn't do anything and wound up getting knocked out of the game. So they kind of questioned that, and then he struggled in that start in Dodger Stadium.
Ryan Howard, the batter, he's in the hole, no balls and 1 strike. And Ryan lays off a breaking ball, and it's 1-1.
There's that 12-6 hook, and it's a good one. And Martin really comes into play on that pitch, because he'll throw it out of the strike zone a lot and try to get hitters to chase.
I marveled at this stat, Wheels. Since April 30th of last year, he's second only to Roy Halladay in victories.
He was unbelievable after the All-Star break last year.
The fact that Ted Lilly's in that mix too, that's kind of surprising as well.
Phillies finally beat him a game. Here Myers beat him 5-0 in that sweep.
1-1 is popped up. Left center field. Rollins is tagging. Kemp coming over. Makes the grab. And the throw goes to second base, and the Phillies have a 1-0 lead. Little small ball for the Phillies as Ryan Howard gets the sacrifice fly after Shane Victorino sacrificed Jimmy Rollins over to third for the first out in this inning.
That's a good job. As you said, a little small ball there, Tom. And also, that's a good play by Kemp, too. There's no sense in trying to throw that ball anywhere except in. It was an up and in fastball, and it kind of jammed him, but he's so strong, and plus a day game here. With the balls carrying a little bit, it looks like. No BP before the game because of the rain. But it looks like it's going to carry when you see a guy get jammed, the ball go out there like that.
Well, 23rd RBI of the year for Ryan Howard, and now Jason Worth, who's been the Phillies' hottest hitter on this homestand. He's 5 for 11 on the stand, including 3 hits in this series. And he takes a big, healthy swing and a miss at the first pitch. Kind of opened up a little bit, and the count is 0-1. Jason with those 4 steals in game 1 of this series. There haven't been too many hitters in the Phillies lineup that have had a good month of May offensively, particularly because of this homestand. But Jason Worth has, hitting .382 during the month. And he hits this one in the air deep down the left field line, but foul. Whew. That's going to chip away some of the concrete up there. That ball was hit so hard.
Got out there in a hurry.
And it's no balls at 2 strikes. Jason Worth, who was originally drafted by the Baltimore Orioles in the first round, made it to the big leagues with the Blue Jays in 2002 and 2003, but really established himself in the big leagues with the Dodgers back in 2004. It's the year he hit 16 home runs for LA. 2-2 the count. They thought he was going to be one of their mainstays in the outfield. A youngster, not only the baseball, but also an opportunity to stay out of school today.
It looks like he's working on not pulling off there. Just trying to keep that shoulder.
And it remains 2 balls at 2 strikes. Nice play by a fan in the luxury suite level.
Yeah, great player in the suite level here. That was kind of a soft pop fly. The guy made a good play.
Got a lot of hooky going on today, Wheels.
Yeah. When's school get out?
School is out. A lot of colleges are done, but the young kids probably a little less than a month.
Yeah.
And Worth is down on strikes, and the inning is over. But the Phillies draw first. A leadoff double by Jimmy Rollins results in a sacrifice fly by Ryan Howard. After 1, the Phillies lead it 1-0. To pop out a little bit, so it's making it a little more comfortable out there. Rain had been falling for a good portion of the morning. The tarp was on the field, and as Wheels mentioned, there was no batting practice earlier today. That's a good thing. The Phillies and the Dodgers are able to get this one started, as Andre Ethier will lead things off for Los Angeles.
Hamels didn't like that baseball. A lot of pitchers will do that when they don't like one. They don't throw it back to the umpire. They just throw it away. They want to make sure it doesn't get in that other ball bag, and they throw it back out to him eventually. So he just took it and threw it over in the Phillies dugout.
You know, Jeff Nelson, the home plate umpire, walked over toward the Phillies dugout in between innings. I wonder if he was talking to Charlie Emanuel about that ball that Shane Victorino had said hit him.
Right.
And 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Ethier.
It was really hard to tell on the replay. One like that one on Sunday that obviously hit the bat.
Right. 1-2 the count. I never asked Charlie about that. Did you ask him about that ball?
No.
Yunel Escobar?
No, but that would somewhere Brett Myers made some comment about that when it happens just that way, that it's kind of hard to see it because the bat's not out over the plate, or I guess you just kind of thought the sound of it might be different down there.
Chopper toward the right side. Ooh, Ryan Howard stayed down nicely on that one, and it's a foot race.
Boy, that thing hit the grass and went straight down. What a good play by Ryan Howard. Man, that was a weird looking grab ball. That looked like an Easter bunny hopper coming out. Look at the big hop it takes. That's going to be a nice one. Woo, it hit right on the cutout and stayed on the ground, and he kept the glove down. And Hamels was a little late getting over there. See, he was all set to flip it to him, and he wasn't there.
Oh, one away now for Russell Martin. Martin hitting .273. No home runs, 14 RBIs for the Dodgers. And he takes one at the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. And a liner over the head of Jimmy Rollins, and it's a base hit. So Martin's aboard with the second base hit of the day for the Dodgers. Now the Florida Marlins are going to be coming to town beginning Monday, May 25th, the unofficial start of summer. It's Memorial Day. It's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. They're also here the 26th, which is a 7:05 start. Wednesday's game is already sold out, but good seats are still available for those first 2 games of that series by logging on to Phillies.com. On the way, here's James Loney. Loney with a home run and 25 RBIs. His home run came last night. It was his first of the year. His average of .277. And he, like a lot of folks, thought that that ball was going to be caught by Jason Worth that wound up going out of the ballpark.
Who else thought that?
Well, Jason Worth did. A liner right at Jimmy Rollins. He stumbles. Can he get 2? And it's off the glove of Ryan Howard. They could have had 2 if Jimmy hadn't stumbled, because the throw would have probably been a little cleaner for Howard to handle.
Yeah, he had a lot better angle too, because the runner was still a good distance from the bag at that point. Now with the runner coming back, the angle disappears, and you can see what happened with Ryan Howard having to try and reach for the throw. Right here, see how far Martin is down the line. Now if Jimmy can get up right up and throw, he's got him easy, but now look where he is. He's got to throw it right near the bag, and Ryan Howard couldn't get. See, no. Now see right there, he'd had a good angle, but now he doesn't. Now he starts to scramble back, and you know, that's a missed opportunity now, and you hope that doesn't hurt them, because that should have had a double play to end the inning.
So 2 away, and here's Matt Kemp. And Kemp swings and misses at a changeup. It's 0-1.
Ryan Howard has to decide at some point there what side of the bag to get to, and in that case he was kind of caught in between. When you could see there was no angle to throw.
It almost looked as if his feet got tangled too.
Yeah, that wasn't smooth.
A little high, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Saw Kemp's numbers on the year with 4 homers and 24 RBIs. He's 2 for 6 lifetime against Hamels. That does not include the postseason when Cole dominated the Dodgers in the 2 games. In particular, that game 5 out in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he was really good that night. Had a pitch out of a couple of tough jams too. Struck out Jeff Kent in a big spot. Got him twice, in fact. Kent retired after after that series.
Retired as the all-time home run leader for second baseman. There goes the runner. The pitch is swung on and missed, and the inning is over. 28 pitches for Cole Hamels through the first 2 innings. He's got a couple of strikeouts as well. As we move to the bottom of the second inning, Hamels looking pretty sharp so far, working with a 1-0 lead. Get a sneak preview of Friday Night Fever right now by logging on to CSNPhilly.com. Well, if you're at your first game, we don't want to hold you to the CSNPhilly.com. It's that little girl's first ever Phillies game. Remember your first Phillies game, Willis?
Yep. Can't tell you what happened in it, but I remember it was in 1954 at Connie Mack Stadium.
Mine was 20 years later at the Vet. Braves and the Phillies. Here's Raul Ibanez leading things off in the second.
Back in those days, believe it or not, you had the choice of 2 teams still. The A's were still in town. Boy, that seems like a long time ago. This town had 2
I was going to say the A's
teams.
were here too.
Yeah.
1-1 the count to Ibanez. And the strange thing is that they shared the ballpark.
Right.
I don't know how you can even manage that in this day and age.
Well, it was a 154 game season too. That helped a little bit.
I think the road trips were longer.
It's a good question. You know, you didn't have any teams in California, obviously. Didn't go any further than St. Louis.
Pitch is inside, so it's 3 balls and a strike to Raul Ibanez. Raul hitting .368 here at Citizens Bank Park. In fact, he's among the league leaders in batting average at a home ballpark. It's part of the reason why he's become such a success here in Philly, because he's done so well in front of the home crowd. He draws a walk. That's the second walk issued by Billingsley.
Billingsley just looks uncomfortable. He keeps looking down at his landing spot. Now he's going back. He's seeing he's knocking a little dirt off his cleats. You know, every once in a while you'll watch a pitcher that just doesn't look like he's enjoying the experience. And right now he does not appear comfortable. With his stuff, he can get comfortable real fast.
That's why that first inning run was so big, and
right.
Try to tack some more on as the game moves on. Pedro Feliz lays off pitch outside. It's 1-0. Pedro's average has gone under 300 for the first time in a while. He's at 291. Part of that is because of the homestand, where he's 2 for 13. He swings and misses that fastball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Only 1 home run this year off Billingsley by a left-handed hitter, and right-handed hitters hitting 159 off. I mean the 2 home runs off him, one right-handed, 1 left, and they are really pulling off him. There's another pull-off swing by these right-handed hitters. He makes them. He does not make them. I think it's his breaking ball and his slider and his cutter, and he doesn't make them comfortable standing there. But you see they're really opening up. Kind of throws across his body a little bit when you watch his delivery.
See, 47 in the 47.7 is the percentage for Billingsley. His home run rate. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he'll keep it in the park.
A lot of times with guys that throw hard, if they're up a little bit, that ball travels pretty quickly out of the ballpark. But he keeps it down at a pretty good velocity.
Well, and his curveball here, he throws across his body a little bit. Ball really moves away from the right-handed hitters. Doesn't pitch inside all that much.
Payoff pitch fouled away. And the count holds full 3-2. Well, that's one of the things they've been saying, too, is that he has been pitching inside a lot more. And that's all part of what we were talking about last year, not pitching inside against the Phillies after Manny Ramirez and Russell Martin, the Dodgers felt were thrown at during that series by Brett Myers. And Feliz is down on strikes. That's the second strikeout for Billingsley.
They did not run there because Feliz does swing and miss a lot. So they didn't want to take any chances on the strikeout double play. And there's why. Just swings right through a fastball. That was really hittable. But you see how he opened up? He was way open before that pitch got there. Now they're going to start running some sunglasses out to the players, to the Dodgers players, as the sun peeks through a little bit. Pedro Feliz on the Phillies dugout, and sunglasses being distributed around the infield.
Andre Ethier already had his in his pocket, getting ready to pop them on over in right field. Another good sized crowd on hand tonight. Casey Blake goes a little old school with the flips.
You don't see baseball sunglasses much anymore.
Here's Carlos Ruiz. He had a couple doubles last night, and he lines one right through the hole at shortstop. Carlos now with 3 hits in his last 2 games, so maybe he's starting to stir a little bit. Phillies catchers really had struggled this entire year combined with their offense. If you're traveling and can't watch your Phillies on TV, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv, the ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer. And you can catch those you missed on demand. For more details, visit Phillies.com, where baseball is always on. Oh, with 1 out and runners on first and second. Cole Hamels will bat for the first time. What do you think here, Wills? Do you think he's going to try to sacrifice?
Well, the Dodgers do. They have their bunt plays on right now. They just put it on, and they have both infielders up at the corners anticipating a bunt.
Cole does square, and he bunts it right in front of the plate. Martin has it. And the only play is to first, and Hamels is retired for out number 2. Second successful sacrifice of the day for the Phillies. And it puts 2 guys in scoring position now for Jimmy Rollins.
Martin really took his time on that and kind of threw a bar of soap to first and almost threw this away. It's a very good bunt by Cole Hamels. See him deaden it, bat out in front of the plate. But he made a tough play for Hudson covering first, because see right there now he just kind of lobs it over there, and you see he had to reach into the runner coming down there, and infielders, first baseman, second baseman, they hate to have to reach in like that because they're really vulnerable to injury.
So Cole Hamels does his job, and now let's see if Jimmy Rollins can do the same. He doubled his first time up and scored the first run and only run of this ball game. And he takes one on the inside corner. It looked like a cutter, and the count is 0-1.
Playing him towards left center field, big gap in right center for Rollins. Hudson with 2 outs, second baseman playing on the grass.
Jimmy swings over that one, and it's 0-2. Jimmy's batting average is better with runners in scoring position than it is on the overall circuit. As we mentioned in the last couple of days, he just needs a couple of multi-hit games to get himself rolling. And it remains no balls and 2 strikes. Jimmy staying alive, fighting that one off. The Dodgers staff is not what I don't think anybody expected coming into this year, because Hiroki Kuroda is on the disabled list with an oblique strain, and they were also wondering whether they were going to get Jason Schmidt back at any point to be put into this rotation for the first time since 2007. And Jimmy takes one a little high, and Schmidt threw a rehab start last night. And he threw 94 pitches, and they expect that he could be back sometime in the next 3 weeks. But again, he has been really banged up.
Been a while
during the course of his career.
Yeah, there's what the Dodgers starters have done. They've done well, and they're very young. They have a very young staff. You know, you saw a guy like Kershaw here the other night with great potential. Billingsley is still very young.
There's Randy Wolf, who pitched so well last night, but the staff includes Wolf, Jeff Weaver, Eric Stoltz. You know, Clayton Kershaw, Randy Wolf, and Chad Billingsley. I mean, it's not, you know, Drysdale, Koufax. You know, it's not the, on paper, the staff that you would expect would lead the league in ERA.
Yeah, and they missed Derek Lowe. There's no doubt about it. But they just didn't want to get into a long-term deal with him, so they let him go. And he did a tremendous job for them.
1-2 the count to Jimmy Rollins. He's fought off a few pitches. And Jimmy lofts one in the air, foul territory. Casey Blake is over, and the inning is over. So Jimmy doubled his first time up, pops up to third here his second time up. Phillies strand 2, hanging on to a 1-0 lead as we head to the third. Jason Ward stole 4 bases in a game, including home, and it got people to talking about the Phillies and their stolen bases abilities. And Davey Lopes has been nice enough to join us here. And Davey, was that something that put a smile on your face when you watched how Jason and everybody else was stealing bases the other night?
Yes, because first of all, it adds excitement to the game, and I don't know why more people don't attempt to do it. And I think there's a trend right now getting back to that, looking for the elite athletes. And Jason is definitely an elite athlete, and this guy can do a lot of things. I think he just needs a lot of people boosting his morale up and staying confident with him, and he's going to put up some big numbers.
Casey Blake leads things off, and he fouls the first pitch off down the right field line.
David, do you have an idea before a game starts on whether you can run on a certain guy, or do you pick it up as the game goes along?
Well, when I'm watching video, I may see one thing, and I just get a general idea of what the guy may be doing when he throws it home versus the first. And then once I go into the game, sometimes it's just the opposite. What I have a tough time doing here, because we don't have a camera in back of me where I can see the back of the pitcher in the front of a left-hander, I have a tough time picking up a pitcher that may tilt back a little bit on his first move. And I'll find that out as I get into the game. So I'll kind of just change the key that we're looking at.
Is first move really a big thing about deciding whether a guy can go or not?
First move? You mean from a left-hander?
From any pitcher.
Well, when I say first move, I mean the first move that tells me that he's going home versus coming to first.
Right.
Now, if you run on a first move, I always say that's the last thing you resort to from off a left-hander. If you can't find his idiosyncrasy, something that dictates what he's going to first and where he goes to home, then you resort to first move if he's got a real slow leg kick or that type of thing.
Casey Blake loops one down the right field line. Here comes Jason Worth, and it's going to be a fair ball. It kicks up some chalk, and Blake will stop at second base as that ball hopped into the crowd. The first base umpire, Mark Carlson, went all the way down the right field line to make that call. Well, I thought that ball landed foul. It was tough to see from here. And we'll get a better look at it right now on the replay. Jason had to come a long way. Well, it may have gotten some chalk, but it looked like it was more foul than fair.
Well, he didn't argue, neither did Ryan Howard. It must have just tipped a little bit of the foul line there.
Well, here's Chad Billingsley with a runner on second base, and he squares and bunts that one foul. It's 0-1. Davey, you were talking about the trend in baseball, how there seems to be more guys swiping bags. It's coming back in vogue. Are you surprised now that you think about it that it went away for as long as it did?
Absolutely. I was dumbfounded, to be honest with you. We went from a game that created excitement by guys running to one base at a time, high on base percentage guys that can only go one base at a time. And to me, that it's very boring. Our game is a little tough to get going anyhow, and then we add something that makes it more boring. I think we're doing ourselves an injustice. Base stealing, if used properly, is a tremendous asset. And like Crawford did the other night, he stole 6 bases. I mean, you see a standing ovation for Jason stealing home. I mean, people like to see things that kind of excite them.
Hey, Davey, base stealers get beaten up a lot. You were a great base stealer. You know, you're diving back into first. You're sliding into second. You guys are slapping tags on you. Is it something you really have? You have to really want to do to be a base stealer?
Yeah, that's all part of it. You know, but I minimize my injuries because I only use one slide, the bent knee pop-up slide. And you know, going back in the first diving, what they were trying to do is basically tire you out. And you could play a little mind game with them that when you feel that's happening, and just take your time and get yourself ready for the next pitch. Well, also, what I notice a lot of times today, if a guy attempts to steal a base, very few guys go on the next pitch. It's almost they have to catch their breath before they try it again. You know, and I don't understand that. If the guy does the same thing the very next pitch, you should be going.
Well, it's funny what you said about sliding feet first. Carl Crawford is doing that this year. He's not sliding head first, he said, because of the wear and tear on his body.
Well, it is a wear and tears on your body. Plus, it's the most dangerous slide in baseball. And secondly, it's a slide that'll get you injured more than any other slide.
All right, David, we appreciate your time, and we enjoyed it the other night. It was fun to watch.
It definitely was. I had fun also.
Thanks, Davey.
Thanks, Wills.
Okay, Davey.
All right.
Count as 2 balls and no strikes to Juan Pierre.
He's so much fun to talk the game with.
Oh,
you know, I kid around with him all the time because I really didn't like you when you were with the Dodgers. He said we didn't like anybody around here either.
That's in for a strike.
Davey was that kind of player you didn't like when he was on the other team because number one, he beat you, but he played with a scowl on his face all the time. You know, he always looked ticked off and arrogant. And that's just the way he played the game, and what a competitor he was.
And it's not how he is in real life.
No, he's fun.
Well, you asked Charlie Manuel about the running game, and he said, you know, I basically put it in Davey's hands and, you know, let him decide when guys are going to go and when guys aren't going to go.
Well, Charlie's that way. I mean, he has somebody after a while, if he trusts them, he will give him a lot of responsibility.
3-1 to Pierre. He fouls off his foot.
That'll slow up a base stealer. I must have gotten some bone to be hopping around like that. Yep, right off the knee, right below his knee on his shin. When a guy takes that long to get back, it's normally a bone shot.
Pierre grounded out to second base his first time up. And this one is a looper foul up toward the Hall of Fame club. Just barely got a piece of that.
Yeah, and he's walking it off still. He's way out of that batter's box right now. It's a deep breath. You can tell he's in a lot of pain.
And he's got Casey Blake on second here at the top of the third, with the Phillies leading at 1-0. And it's a change up, hit in the air to left field, and Raul Ibanez hasn't played perfectly. And they're 2 away as Casey Blake goes back to second. Hey, it's time now for the Dodge Stump the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan forum section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, which 2 players hold the Los Angeles Dodgers record for most doubles in their first 3 full seasons? Most doubles in their first 3 full seasons.
And that's Los Angeles Dodgers record.
Right. And the answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Yeah, we're not including the whole Dodgers organization. And Brooklyn Dodgers. Here's Rafael Furcal. And he takes one high. It's 1-0. Furcal singled his first time up. And then was caught stealing off first base on a strikeout throw out by Ruiz. And caught in a rundown. Way out in front of a changeup. He lost his hat.
Yeah, hitters don't like to do that. That's a little bit embarrassing. You get fooled that badly that you lose the batting helmet.
And then there's Sarge, who just tossed his batting helmet aside.
He would just flip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hamels now ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I guess the question about the velocities has been answered with these last few starts. I mean, he's been consistently at 92, 93 miles an hour the last couple starts.
If he's in that area, 91, 92, 93, then it makes everything else much more effective. And he said he would be. It's just a matter of him pitching, getting his arm strength built up, and that's exactly what's happened. Hamels threw one really good curveball in this game, and that was to Hudson to strike him out in a 3-2 pitch after some foul balls. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's thrown one since. Taking a long time on a pitch right now. That could be in their mind.
Came with a fastball down and away, so it evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Charlie Manuel was saying last night after the ball game that he's concerned about the starting staff, not just Jamie Moyer, but everybody. But sometimes when Hamels is out there, you don't have as much concern. It makes you feel pretty good because you know he's going to throw strikes to keep you in this ball game.
Right. He was feeling very good about today's game, knowing that Hamels was going to pitch. Now, sure, he's not happy with his pitch count climbing this fast because the Dodgers are fouling a lot of pitches off.
He's about to throw his 50th pitch of the day in front of the sold-out crowd here at Citizens Bank Park.
And he needs to have some easier innings, to get deeper into this game today, because they're going to watch him closely.
And it's full, 3-2. The first couple of innings weren't too bad for Cole, but this inning he's thrown 22 pitches, and he's got Orlando Hudson waiting on deck.
Hudson gave him a long at bat, 8 or 9 pitches first time up, and that was a curveball that he struck him out on.
Another foul ball for Furcal.
These guys are really getting late swings at fastballs and fastball counts. It's almost like they're up there looking for something off speed. And Hamels has the ability to throw a pitch by a guy when they're doing that. But in this case, the Dodgers, you notice all these late swings that they're getting in counts where they should be hitting fastballs.
Hit towards shortstop, off the glove of Rollins into left field, and the Dodgers are going to tie this ball game up. It's going to be an error charge to Jimmy Rollins, and Wheels, I think that's going to be the first unearned run that the starting staff has allowed this season. That's how good the Phillies defense has been.
Well, and Jimmy was trying to backhand and throw out a fast runner and just missed it. Kicked off the glove. He immediately goes into a backhand stance to throw out a guy like Furcal who hit a changeup. right there, you see it already gotten ready to backhand right there. He's going to backhand it, hit the heel of the glove. You never see that with him. And, you know, then it bounces away and the runner's able to score all the way from second. Even if he had just kicked it and it stayed at his feet, he just have first and third and 2 outs.
Well, now the inning is alive and the pitch count will rise even further for Cole Hamels here in the top of the third, as Orlando Hudson is ahead 1 ball and no strikes. So it's 1-1, Dodgers and the Phillies, the final game of this 3-game series.
And Rollins knew he was going to have a tough time to throw out for a call if he didn't backhand and get a lot on the throw because of the way this guy can run.
Hudson struck out on that 3-2 curveball from Hamels his first time up. Now Cole is about to throw his 27th pitch of this inning. And it's a strike.
Well, it's a great way to play the game. You know, if you have hitters who don't strike out and can foul a lot of pitches off, the key to baseball nowadays is to get the starter out of the game as quickly as possible, get into middle relief. And you know, when Torrey was in the American League, that was really the way they played over there, especially with that Yankee team that he had. They were very effective at that. Big gust of wind came up just then as Hamels was taking the sign. That's why he stepped off.
It's a pop-up foul, so the count is going to even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's another late swing at a fastball in a fastball count, and that's what just leads you to believe. You just see the wind blowing pretty hard right now, that these guys have a plan that they think they can foul some fastballs off and hit the off-speed stuff. It's a dangerous way to hit, but that's certainly the way they're approaching him so far today.
Well, Hudson did that in his last at bat. He did have a 9-pitch at bat his last time up, and he got caught on a curve. As they keep an eye on Rafael Furcal over at first base. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Brewers, and they're red hot. They now lead the Marlins 2-1. Brewers are looking for their first 3-game sweep of the Marlins since '99. And there's a change-up, and Hudson's down on strikes for the second time this afternoon. But the Dodgers get an unearned run here at the top of the third inning, and we're all even 1-1 as we head to the bottom of the third with Victorino, Utley, and Ryan Howard for the Phils. Fees by AT&T, your world delivered, and by Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Philadelphia Phillies. Well, Casey Blake scores on the error by Jimmy Rollins, That ties the ball game up at 1 apiece as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Jimmy's error was his second of the season. And now the Phillies offense will go to work to try to get a run back here in the bottom of the third against Chad Billingsley, who hasn't really settled in yet either. He does have a couple of strikeouts, but the Phillies have had base runners in these first 2 innings.
Yeah, they left men on. They've had shots at him. So he hasn't looked real comfortable out there, but he can settle down.
On the inside corner, the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
You watch a guy's body language, and when he keeps looking down and pawing at the mound and pawing at the area where he's landing and not throwing strikes, normally they're not quite in a real good rhythm.
That one got away from Russell Martin. Billingsley's been pretty good this year with his ERA at 2.45, and the Dodgers have scored a lot of runs for him. See what Shane has done his last 5 games, and he lines that one foul.
Ooh.
That one nearly got the ball girl down the right field line.
He's trying to make a good play there, and that was hit hard.
Well, Mackenzie Meyer is going to give that ball to that little fan. I don't think he held on to it, Wheels.
Oh. Every once in a while you'll see
there
a
goes.
I was just going to say that's what they do.
And Victorino down on strikes as Martin holds on to it.
See that so many times. You give a little kid a ball like that. What do they want to do? They want to throw it.
Of course they do.
They don't know what it is. I'm just getting ready to say that. Once in a while they'll get one, and then right away they'll throw it right back on the field. That's what he did. See that so many times. He gets a little older. I'm like, no, I want to keep this, but not now.
His dad was trying to catch it. He tried to reach in front of him.
Oh, that was funny.
There's one away for Chase Utley.
I mean, when you're that age and somebody puts a ball in your hand,
you're going to throw it.
You're going to throw it.
Yep. You're going to throw it in the house. You're going to break something. You're going to throw it on the field.
Right.
In pretty good form, though, too.
He did. He got on top.
Yeah.
He's all set now as he gets older, and then somebody hits a home run near him, he can throw it back. Still don't get that.
Little number foul, and Chase is in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
Been so excited to get a ball.
I agree with you.
And you throw it back, whatever.
Yeah, the first one I remember getting was at Tiger Stadium. I was there with my brother and a bunch of his friends, and a bunch of our friends. And when he got that ball, my brother got that ball. Man, it was awesome.
Really? And a home run ball?
It was batting practice.
Still?
Yeah. I would have caught it, Wheels, but I had the camera in my hand.
Right. No doubt in my mind.
Chase with only 3 hits on this homestand. 2 of those hits have been home runs. And he lays off one down and away. 2-2.
Billingsley going to his best pitch, which is a curveball, and he's thrown it quite a bit. That is his out pitch, the same way that Hamels wants to use his changeup in certain situations for outs.
2 young guns, one 24-year-old, one 25-year-old dealing today. Both have high pitch counts early in this game. And at the knees, a called strike 3. And it's the second strikeout of the inning for Billingsley, 4th overall. Well, the Dollar Dog Nights, of course, are back here at Citizens Bank Park. A great success the other night. Next one coming up is May 25th when the Marlins are in town. That's Memorial Day. And then it follows with July 23rd when the Padres come back to finish up their series. It's a rescheduled rainout. You can order your tickets for both of those games by logging on to Phillies.com. Youngster enjoying a dog today. Not a dollar dog today, but in the same neighborhood. Here's Ryan Howard with 2 away. That's a curveball that got away from Billingsley.
Well, you don't want to see this guy settle down. He's had 2 strikeouts and 2 good hitters in this inning. And, he gets comfortable. He can be very difficult.
Well, the middle of this Phillies lineup today, 2, 3, and 4. I guess not the middle because they're not including Worth, but Howard, Utley, and Victorino have just 1 hit in this series combined. It was Victorino, and that was his first at bat of the series. 1-2 the count to Howard.
Turn around looking at Nelson a lot. Thought it was low. You see from that side angle, it's close to knee high.
Ryan bounces one toward Hudson in shallow right. And it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the third inning for Chad Billingsley. Well, 5 in a row retired by Billingsley. This youngster wants to get involved in the game. Show off his arm. The Dodgers scored an unearned run in their half of the third inning. And we're joined up here in the booth not only by Gary Matthews, but also by David Montgomery, the president of the Phillies. And David, first and foremost, I want to compliment you on being able to be on the same page as Sarge and I with the shirt today.
I think it's a different shade, though, Tom. Plus, if I had been thoughtful, I would have had a hat with me. You know what I mean, from a man over here.
Yeah,
so.
that would be good.
He didn't have the hat on before, though, David. That's the thing. He had a different one on. Yeah. You never know. He changes with the weather.
Well, it's tough dealing with a man of fashion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he doesn't know that. Him or Will, trust me.
Here's Andre Ethier to start the top of the fourth inning. Another sold-out crowd here at Citizens Bank Park. I'll tell you, this has been a heck of a homestand.
Yeah, it is. You know, and actually, we just realized that for the year we went over the 3 million mark in tickets sold, Tom. So
wow.
It would be hard to describe how appreciative we are of the support our fans have given us. I mean, ever since we came over here, to be honest with you, but the last couple of years in particular, it's been unbelievable.
Well, fans have been doing their part. 14, what is that, sellouts we've had so far this year?
Yeah,
7 in a row?
It's quite a stretch. You know, we knew once we reached here in May that we'd have a nice stretch. Obviously, we have a couple weekend series and the Dodgers coming in and whatnot. But what was amazing was how well we drew in April.
Yeah.
Frankly. You know, it was, and we were a little weather challenged, as we all know. So, pretty special season from that standpoint.
Well, Cole Hamels just picked up his 5th strikeout. He starts Russell Martin off with an off-speed pitch for strike one. So it's no balls and 1 strike. David, the other thing that struck me being in New York the other day is how many ballparks are trying to emulate what's being done here in Philadelphia. You know, whether it be the open concourse as Martin lines one toward the gap in left center field. Ibanez cuts it off. He's going to hold Martin to a single. But I think that says an awful lot too, that the ballpark is, you know, around baseball is trying to be emulated at different spots too.
Well, I think we all have had a situation, and we certainly benefited from seeing other parks that were built during the 90s when we opened here in 2004. You know, one of the things that I go back to Coors Field's the first place where I saw just the benefit of what I described to be open concourses, and it's amazing the number of fans that we have day in and day out that I think they sit down sometime, but a lot of them are very happy just to hang out. You know, as a result of the space, there's a lot of places where you can stand comfortably, and you can stand in the infield behind home plate. You can do that on a couple levels. Obviously, Ashburn Alley is a very popular place, and you know, we've gotten away. I think we all realize that eating food in your lap isn't always the easiest and best place to do it.
Told you, Sarge.
And you know, by having the drink rails and whatnot, and giving people an opportunity to congregate back there, it also means that if you're sitting 4 or 5 in an aisle and somebody's on your far left, you may not talk to them much during a game, but if you go back and grab something to eat and mix around, you end up in a different conversation.
James Loney, the batter, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike to Loney here in the top of the 4th inning. In a 1-1 game, Loney with a 3-run home run last night finished with 4 RBIs for the Dodgers. And that's one of the features that David's talking about, is the open concourse where people are just hanging out, just soaking in the atmosphere. Runner goes, pitch is taken for a strike. The throw by Ruiz, not in time. And that's the 4th stolen base of the year for Russell Martin.
Sarge, let me ask you a question. I'm curious, watching outfield play. Seems like a lot more outfitters, and certainly our guys, slide for balls than they used to. Obviously, it's a little easier on natural grass than it was for the years we played at the vet. I know a few of my friends, Mr. Boa, for example, didn't like those brush burns you got from sliding at the vet. But is that more in vogue, do you think, than it used to be? Or
well,
what?
there's no doubt about it. And I think sometimes it benefits the player to be able to do just that.
Ryan Howard, a double play. What a play by Jimmy Rollins to hang the bag at second base. Look at Russell Martin. He can't believe it. A, that he was caught off the bag, and then B, that he was actually caught by Jimmy Rollins. So Ryan Howard's defense continues to shine. He got a little help right there from his friend, the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Well, it was defense that led to the Dodgers' first run, an unearned run for the Phillies, but it was defense that got Cole Hamels out of the top of the 4th inning, not only by Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins, but also by that guy, Raul Ibanez. Sarge, David was talking about the outfielders sliding and cutting off balls. Ibanez saved this from being an extra base hit.
As long as he does not kick the ball, he gets up, sliding, catching the ball, gets it right into Chase Utley. No double. That's a big play right there to be able to do that. We've seen Jason Worth slide over there in the corner and then come up with good tosses to make sure that runners don't advance. And that's something that they've implemented basically themselves. You don't start to teach it because everybody doesn't feel comfortable in doing that type of play.
Well, David Montgomery, the Phillies president, stays with us here at the bottom of the 4th inning as Jason Worth leads it off. Jason struck out his first time up in this game. And it's a pretty wide strike zone by Jeff Nelson, home plate umpire, and the count is no balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, well, Billingsley does not need any help. Good curveball, good fastball. He's been spotting it and keeping it down.
0-2 the count to Jason. Well, David, the Phillies will head to Washington after the series is over with the Dodgers tonight. Take the train down, and tomorrow, you know, the continuation of what was a great year last year, as the Phillies will get a chance to go meet President Barack Obama, Sarge's good friend, and
right.
That's a great honor for the organization to go down there.
It really is, and obviously it was a shame that we had to postpone the opportunity given the passing of Harry when we were there in the middle of April. But now we're looking forward to it. It's they seem to have had the opportunity to honor a few other teams in the interim. So I think they've figured out how to do it by now, Tom. So we'll just slide in there and take advantage of the opportunity. It would certainly be a thrill for me to have the opportunity to get a brief White House tour and clearly the opportunity to meet the president.
Jason Worth hits one in the air deep down the right field line. Ethier on the run toward the corner, has room. Can he make the grab? He cannot. Not a whole lot of room there for Ethier, and the count remains 1-2 strikes.
Well, I'm going to surely enjoy myself as you see Ethier going and kind of alligator arms over there toward the line there, meaning that
wait, that wall was coming up pretty quickly. Sorry.
Well,
yeah, he forgets, David. It's been a long time since he was out in the outfield.
Boy, oh boy, it's interesting. It's like the rest of us. It's easy up here.
Well,
right?
it is easy. And I had forgot I had struck out 4 times in a game.
I can't believe that ever happened to you.
Well, it didn't happen on a left-hander. Thank goodness of that. But I tell you, with this computer these days, you better have your story straight. Let me tell you.
I'm sure we can find some video of you pulling your arms and going into the wall, a candlestick or something.
I don't know about that.
For years, players always got better and better when they retired. Now they're going to let a few facts stand in the way. That doesn't seem right, Sarge.
Harry says never let that stand in the way. The facts of a good story, I'm telling you.
Here's the 2-2 to Worth. A curveball, and he is rung up for the 5th strikeout of the day for Chad Billingsley.
Well, President Obama definitely a sports fan, and he makes it clear that he's a White Sox fan. I don't know if we should.
Well, we can be his National League team, right? With your friendship and whatnot, why can't we slide in there?
Well, hopefully you would think that, but he's a devout White Sox fan,
right? But I mean, you can't be a White Sox and Cubs fan. Anybody that's lived in Chicago knows that. So he's made his choice as far as. So it's not like he has a National League team locally.
That is true.
We'll have to have you schmooze him a little bit and become his National League club.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can coax him with a hat or two.
One of your hats or two?
Well, I don't know about my hat. We'll give him one of the other ones that we're doing here, I think.
Raul Ibanez the batter. How about that one, Sarge? You think the president will wear something like that?
No, you know what? I don't think he's going to wear any kind of. Well, no, won't be wearing that either. I've never seen him in hats or any hats at all, to tell you the truth.
1-2 the count to Ibanez.
Well, Billingsley has some stuff, doesn't he?
Oh boy, he's got that good fastball, and he does spot the ball, but the curveball that he throws has a tight spin on it. It gets a lot of check swings and called strike 3 on it.
Ibanez hits one through the middle for a base hit. It's his first hit of the day. And obviously, David, from a baseball standpoint, I was talking to the guys on WIP today about Ibanez and, what a pickup he has been. I mean, he's hit so well here at home, but he's played so well defensively that the fans have embraced him from the get-go.
Well, he's all around, not only as a player, but as a person, too. I mean, I remember hearing a few people describe him as the way do you meet Raul? You put him in a category with Jim Thome and Dale Murphy and guys like that, and that's absolutely correct. That was the right scouting report on Raul as a person. Charming wife and just good solid family, and he clearly knows how to play the game right.
Oh, there's no question. Professional hitter, takes what the pitcher gives him.
Even that play right there, I don't know whether we had it on camera, but just seeing the way he went to first to make sure that the center fielder, I mean, that's basically a single, but if you put a little pressure on, who knows? Maybe it gets bobbled and all of a sudden we have a man at second.
No, the only way he plays is 100%.
0-2 the count to Pedro Feliz. Well, we had heard so much about his offense, and because he was on the West Coast, I mean, you don't see him that often unless it's watching the baseball package at night. But his defense has been way better than anything I envisioned.
Well, I think that and the fact that his ability to go first to third. I mean, he's been a very aggressive and smart base runner, and has really helped us that way as well.
0-2 is shot the other way. Loney with a lofting throw to second for one in time for the double play. 3-6-3 and the inning is over. Phillies got a base hit by Raul Ibanez, but that was it. David, we appreciate you joining us.
My pleasure, Tom.
See you on the train later
Sarge,
today.
always. Absolutely.
All right,
Thank
David
you, man.
Montgomery, our guest, will be back with the top of the fifth in just a moment. +4 dealers and by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW. Top of the fifth inning. It's a 1-1 ball game. The Dodgers have scored an unearned run in this game. The Phillies, meanwhile, scored a run on a sac fly by Ryan Howard. Look at this last play, Sarge, by Rafael Furcal.
Well, going in and hard sliding, taking him right out. Almost thought both of them were hurt for a split second.
Matt Kemp over the glove of Jimmy Rollins. The first pitch swinging, and he's got a base hit to start this fifth inning.
Take a look at Ibanez going in. Plays at 100%. High throw. He slide. Clean slide. Almost got those cleats right there on his face there. And the bag actually coming up.
That second base bag has had some problems the last couple of days.
Sure is.
You know, they got the senior stroll the bases after the ball game today. They better be careful going around second base.
Well, one thing, though, you really want it if you're going to slide to come up. If it's stiff, you can end up getting that injury.
Here's Casey Blake out in front of a changeup, and the count is 0-1. Last night it was Juan Pierre.
Yeah, he slides hard. Now, he goes by and then actually takes it. Takes it right out, and it does.
As any good little leaguer will do, he'll try to pop the base back into the slot.
Try and get that back in. Now, you weren't alluding to I was going to be walking or running the bases there, were you? I mean, it kind of slipped right by me when you said that.
Oh, no. I mean, you can go out if you want to.
Yeah, I'll be doing the post game after the game after this win.
0-2 the count to Casey Blake.
I think we can get us a representative from the booth.
I thought Wheels was already going down.
Already got his place in line. Is what you're saying? Oh boy!
I think it'd be great if you went down there and showed all the folks how to slide.
You got
to second base.
They do a pop-up slide. You have to be going pretty fast. I don't know if I can generate that much speed as Blake ends up hitting a drive into left center.
Look at Kemp. He's caught between second and third, and now Blake's between first and second, and everybody's going to get back. Matt Kemp has had some problems on the base paths this year. And he nearly had a problem right there. He was trying to make a little more happen than he needed to in that spot.
Well, one of the reasons, too, as a fielder, you're going in and you're picking balls and you're already anticipating the runner actually going, so he does not fool you. You see the ball hit in the left center. Banya's coming over, showing defense. There goes Kemp coming around the bases as he kind of hesitates to come back. It's about all he could have done on that. When you're in the outfield, you can't run at that runner. You got to make sure that you give it up, and you like to give it up to that base where he's actually going, not throwing behind him, so he gets to advance that base.
Billingsley bunts it right in front of the plate. Ruiz for third for one, over to first, not in time. Carlos was able to get onto that ball quickly, and he threw a strike to Pedro Feliz.
Didn't even hesitate. Boy, he's got something on it when he throws that ball. Everybody in the ballpark knows that he's getting ready to actually bunt that ball. And look at that throw by Feliz, just barely missing him. But good throw by Ruiz, jumping out in front of home plate, getting the lead runner.
Well, Billingsley has had some trouble bunting the baseball in this ball game. He struck out in the third inning. Couldn't get the bunt down, and that time he got it down, but he didn't get it far enough away from the catcher up the third base line.
Well, you still need to watch it, however, because Juan Pierre will bunt, and will bunt at any time.
So one away, runners on first and second. Pierre is 0 for 2. And he does show bunt. He takes one low. It's 1-0.
Well, Kemp trying to get a lead at second base. It looked like he was getting ready to try and go. Trying to force the issue.
Two and 0.
Blake doesn't have good speed at second base. If he gets a jump, he will go.
And Hamels this time spins around back at second base, just to keep him honest over there. Juan Pierre, the active leader, among the active leaders in sacrifice bunts with 101. Another spin back by Cole Hamels.
You can see how runners can split your concentration. Really, Hamels want to go after Juan Pierre, left-handed hitter, and make good pitches and be able to get him out.
Listen in the air, foul down the left field line. Ibanez gives it a run, and it's 2-1.
Oh, he's been pulling the ball, though, in this series, and usually on the right-handed pitchers. Doesn't usually pull too much on left-handed pitchers because he has to wait a little bit longer. Not as aggressive. Therefore, the outfielders can play a little more shallow, especially there in left field.
See where Victorino is in center, and Ibanez over in left, over toward the line a little bit. This will be the 75th pitch of the day for Cole Hamels. And he bunts it up the third base line. This is going to be a tough play. Feliz bare hands, gets him. That's going to go down, I would think, as a sacrifice, but I think Pierre was part sacrificing, but also trying to beat that out for a base hit.
No, he was going for a base hit. There's no question in my mind. Hitter's not going to want to try and bunt the ball, move the runner over second and third there with one out. Now it's 2 outs, leaving it up to Furcal. He was trying to deaden that ball right on the line. If he gets it on the line, you got trouble. Feliz coming up and making that play. Good, strong throw again.
Sacrifice 5-3 on the put out, 2 away. Runners on second and third. Here's Furcal. He's put the ball in play both times. He singled his first time up, and his sharply hit ground ball to Jimmy Rollins resulted in Blake scoring the tying run in the third. And he squares and takes one away. It's 1-0.
See Cole looking in. I think he wanted that pitch.
got that one, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
He didn't even offer it that. Looked like he was just taking all the way.
And he's down now in the count 1-2. So Hamels has worked ahead. And he's going to try to see his way through this inning with a runner on third. That's Blake, and a runner on second. That's Billingsley, the opposing pitcher. And a 1-1 game, and Cole Hamels, he has had the flair for the strikeout today. He's got 5 so far. And these fans want 1 more. Two, just missed a little high inside.
Oh, such a good pitch. Fastball in as Charlie's looking around. See exactly where this ball is. It is in just a little bit.
Larry Bowa, look out over there.
Boy, he still has those moves as he twists out of the way of a ground ball. I tell you, that's one of those third base coaches and first base. Look out. Now Wills would be all over him as he almost.
Bob Schaefer, the bench coach, he's on him a little bit in the dugout.
Got to watch your cartilage on that.
Line drive foul into the seats down the left field line. And it's a broken bat for Furcal. Sarge, that's now 81 pitches for Hamels. And Orlando Hudson and Furcal, I mean, they've had some long at bats against him during this ball game, fouling 1 pitch after another off, getting the count to 2-2 or 3-2, and that's part of the reason why Cole's pitch count is high.
Yeah, they have been fouling off a lot of pitches. And you're right, Hudson fouling off pitches after pitches. Total 81.
Three and two.
You can almost see him trying to hump up on that fastball to get it on that outside part of the plate after coming in a couple of times.
Changeup swung on and missed. Way out in front of that one. That's his 6th strikeout, and it could be his biggest one of the ball game. Cole Hamels, much to the delight of the crowd, gets out of a jab here at the top of the 5th inning. And he was just toying with Furcal with this one. It's a beauty as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Business Person Special. Don't forget, Wednesday the 17th is a salute to Jackie Robinson and the Faith and Family Celebration. You can get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. And the Blue Jays will host the Yankees tonight. They are a game up in the American League East 10 games over 500. And they lead the Boston Red Sox, who are at 21-13. And they have done it with an awful lot of offense so far. Some pretty good pitching. And they say the laid-back style of Cito Gaston.
Yeah, Cito doing a good job with the Toronto Blue Jays after being hired last year near about the halfway mark, near the All-Star break, I should say.
Here's Carlos Ruiz to start the bottom of the 5th inning. And Ruiz takes one for a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, he's got a little tight slider that he throws, or cutter. That was a cutter or slider there to Ruiz, which just moved just a little bit toward the end.
Sarge is a hitter. When a pitcher has command like Billingsley does of a slider and a good 12-6 curveball, how difficult is it?
Buckle up. That means he's going to be there like Tom Seaver would be for just about 8 or 9 innings. And then when you, especially for Billingsley, when he's throwing that curveball, he hasn't been getting the curveball over consistently. So consequently becomes a little easier to hit, but still tough, however, because he's spotting that fastball in and out.
Ruiz holds his swing on that breaking ball, and it's 2-2. Yeah, we say slider, but his slider is more like a cutter.
Right. Right, just moving a little bit toward the end.
See, since 2007, Billingsley has the 5th best ERA in Major League Baseball. I mean, Santana, Peavy, Sabathia, Herring, and Billingsley.
Pretty good company.
He's had some deep counts today. That was the 70th pitch of the day. Cole Hamels waits on deck.
Yeah, and that's due to a lot not being able to get his breaking ball over. He usually can get that over, get it over just about an inning count. He's been struggling with it so far. Not being able to throw it for a good strike.
And there's ball 4. Ruiz draws the walk. It's the 3rd walk issued by Billingsley in the ballgame.
Boy, that's a solid at bat, especially with no outs. Cole Hamels, pitcher, coming up next. Bunting situation.
Hamels has a sacrifice so far today. Still looking for his first hit. He has 8 official at bats. He squares and he bunts at it and misses in the count 0-1.
Yeah, needs to get around a little bit quicker. You can see at the last minute he jabbed at the ball. That's not really what you want to do. You know, you get in the position and make sure that that ball is not higher than your hands, and if it is, you got a good chance of popping it up. A lot of times on tough pitchers, Tony La Russa does that quite a bit. Will slug bunt, meaning that you get in that bunting stance and then you bring the bat back and then you just go on and slap at it. Hitter wants to get the ball on the ground.
And Hamels does get it on the ground, but right at the legs of Russell Martin. And it's 0-2. So that note that the Phillies have the 8th highest batting average in the National League for pitchers. And there's something to be said with that, considering Hamels doesn't even have a base hit this year.
Well, he just barely fouled that one off, which was a little bit high. Well, every time that happens, in this case, Mr. Nelson, home plate umpire, you'll see him go out to the mound just to give the catcher a little breather.
Hamels not bunting here, and he takes one upstairs. It's 1-2. I don't think Cole's good enough, even with 2 strikes, to lay down a bunt if he needs to, or attempt one.
No, he was more getting ready to hit in that situation, not trying to bunt him. Billingsley can be a tough pitcher to bunt because he throws that ball high in the zone.
Cole squares, takes one outside, 2-2. Cole does get the bunt down. It's a dandy. And Billingsley bobbles it, and everybody's going to be safe. That's going to go down as a sacrifice and an error to Chad Billingsley. Joe Torre watched him make that play before on the third base line with Shane Victorino at the plate, but that time he just couldn't get the grip.
No, sure couldn't get the grip on that one, and coming in, it wasn't a difficult play, more difficult to bunt the ball with that ball going off the plate. That's why you always continue to hustle, and that's, again, the reason they tell pitchers to get that ball with both hands. You go in and you get it with the one hand, and if it doesn't go in, then you have the problem that you have right now. And for me, another bunting situation for J-Ro.
Well, the Dodgers think so. The corners are pinched in with runners on first and second. Jimmy does square, and he takes a slider for a strike. And it's 0-1. Says fastball up on the board. I guess at 90 miles an hour, that is the cutter. You keep getting confused with the movement of that pitch because the fastball is usually a little higher than that.
Yeah, and again, it will move in on you right at the last minute.
Chopper first base side. And it's 0-2.
Yeah, took off the bunt, obviously. Well, I just think, though, when you're in these kind of games like that, it's just a good time to have runners, if you can, in scoring position, especially now that you get back to the top of your lineup with J-Ro leading off. Just put that much more added pressure on the opposition. Charlie Manuel, a hitting type. I mean, he's a player's manager, meaning that he'll put a lot of pressure on the players and let them do their thing. In this particular case, J-Ro swinging away.
Now you say that he's a player's manager, and he puts pressure on the players.
Sure, he puts pressure on the players to do their thing, to play the way that they should, but he allows them to do just that. Doesn't have a lot of rules, be on time and to play hard. Get a lot of respect from the players that way, and he doesn't act as if though he's running the show in terms of he knows the players are winning and losing the ball games. He will take pressure off of the players by taking the blame, but he lets them go out there and do the things that they should. That's why he expects for you to give 100% tough at bats.
Jimmy swings and misses that one. Hamels off the first base bag, and the throw goes into right field. Ruiz will go to third, and Hamels stays at first base. Second error of the inning for the Dodgers, and it's the first of the year for Martin. And now runners on first and third with one away.
It appeared to be a slider, something hard in, and Martin will throw the different bases. You can see that's that curveball as it bounces. It would have had a play maybe on him. That throw wide of first base. Cole Hamels not able to get up and collect himself to get over to second base.
If that ball was down the right field line a little bit more, then Cole would have been able to get to second, but it went right to Ethier and right. Here's Victorino. His average has dropped under 260 over the last couple of days. And he is really bearing down on the inside part of the plate.
Well, when you get runners on, he has gone to hard stuff in to try and jam the hitters. No secret on how he's pitching. He's been getting low strikes called, low fastballs called near the knees. So adjustments have to come from the hitter. The umpire's calling it, make the adjustment. Needs to get something in that outfield, preferably deep if it's not a base hit. Victorino also a tough guy to double up.
And he's in the hole, one ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, well, he's been calling that pitch. He's been calling that low pitch. So again, like I said, you got to make the adjustment on that one. Hopefully, if he's calling the low pitch, that he won't be calling borderline high. But he has been consistent the whole game and calling that low pitch borderline right by the knees. That's okay.
Russell Martin keeping Ruiz at third with that block. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Prince Fielder has hit his 8th home run, and the Brewers now lead the Marlins 4-3.
He's starting to heat up.
He is. He's hitting some long home runs. That's his 3rd home run of the series. Brewers are tied for first place in the Central.
How about that?
And the count is full 3-2. Yeah, the Reds, Sarge's friend Dusty. The Brewers and the Cardinals are tied for first. The Cubbies are now a half a game back.
Nobody wants to win it in that division, although
it is
there's some
only
teams
May
over
15th, 14th, I should say.
It is a little bit early.
Hamels doesn't go. 3-2, fouled off. Well, here's the National League Central standings. And, the Astros are 4.5 back. The Pirates 5.5 back. But hey, who knows? That could be a heck of a race between those 4 teams.
Well, you kind of like it when you're in that division that it is gelled up, unless you're the one that's on top by 4 or 5 games. Everybody's beating each other. That show you that everybody has different deficiencies.
Victorino chops one foul right past Davey Lopes. Finish the game with Michael Barkat and former Phillies closer Mitch Williams' extensive game breakdown, plus player reactions from Amy Fadul on Sloan Toyota presents Phillies post-game live. After the game, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Saw Mitch at the ballpark today. He was doing his radio show.
He does come out at the ballpark quite a bit. Be around the batting cage.
And Victorino is down on strikes, and Hamels is caught again. This time the throw was clean. Ruiz now caught between third and home, and now Blank will run at him. And Raphael for call applies the tag, and the inning is over. 2 strikeouts, a base running blunder by the Phils, and this threat, and it was a pretty good one with 2 runners on, ends with nothing. Including a club record 4 against the Dodgers. Worth it? You bet. And it is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, there's Jason Worth. He is our Independence Blue Cross Player of the Week. And the play that ended the bottom of the 5th inning, you're not going to see this that often, Sarge. We kind of saw it twice in the inning.
Yeah, well, Cole Hamels getting a little bit too far off of the base, and now all of a sudden Ruiz gets caught in a rundown. Very difficult to get out of those rundowns right there. And you can see that he just went on and kind of gave up on that ball there. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Sarge, it goes 2, 3, 6, 5, 2, 6.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
You going to play that tonight in the Pennsylvania lottery?
No, I'm not. I'm not a lottery player unless it gets up to about 100 million or so. Okay?
All right. Well, Sarge, it's at 129 million. The Powerball is.
Then I will be getting a ticket.
All right. Well, now we begin the top of the 6th inning. It's a 1-1 game. There was no Powerball jackpot winner last night, so that means on Saturday the prize will go up. So get your tickets now, Sarge, before you head out of town.
I might have to do that.
Here's Orlando Hudson to start the top of the 6th inning. Hudson's 0 for 2. He struck out twice. Good changeup, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Boy, the changeup really has some movement on it. Struck for call out last inning on a 3-2 changeup. Filthy as it was going away from him.
Another changeup, and that's in for strike 2. It's 1-2. Well, that was the 86th pitch thrown by Cole Hamels. We said that he's probably going to be in the hundreds today. And he was right around that neighborhood last time out. And they're still trying to build up his pitch count, even though we're in the month of May, because of the missed starts that he had. Really the stops and the starts, but that's his 7th strikeout.
Yeah, he's really gone to work on Orlando Hudson. Kind of doctor-like, just cutting him up. There's that hat trick. 3 strikeouts in a game. Now check this changeup as he goes and swings over the top of it.
And 1 away for Andre Ethier. He's a strikeout victim, and there's a curveball that's in for strike 1. Ethier hitting .269, 27 runs batted in. That's 7th most in the National League. And he comes back with a fastball after that hook, and it's 0-2.
He starts throwing those balls around the plate. Hitters aren't able to guess with them, and they do guess. They try and stay soft at times.
Well, Ethier's seen the whole repertoire.
Now, usually when a catcher sits inside on you, as a hitter, you can kind of feel him a little bit, and you're thinking fastball. But Cole Hamels, one of those pitchers that would throw changeups on the inside part of the plate. So it'll get that hitter out in front of the ball.
Now, he's not alone with that. Jamie Moyer, when he's going good, and Jamie struggled last night and has struggled the last few starts, he'll throw that changeup on the inside part of the plate.
Well, he will throw it. Different pitcher, however, since one throws harder than the other one.
Right. Another strikeout, and that's number 8 for Cole Hamels. And 2 away here in the 6th inning. And as Russell Martin comes to the plate, it also reminds us of our Geico quote of the day. It comes from Russell about Manny Ramirez. He's one of the best hitters of all time, so it's definitely going to be tough. But what can you do? You've just got to move on and keep plugging away. You have to take it as a challenge. 15 minutes could save you 15% on your car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO.
Yeah, he's due to get back, I think, sometime in July.
Yeah, this is the 7th game the Dodgers are playing without Manny Ramirez. The Phillies are going through that right now without J.C. Romero. I mean, obviously it's a different situation. And J.C. is with the club now, not in uniform, not in the dugout. And he told me yesterday that he's going to be with the club now for the remainder of his suspension as it's kind of winding down for him.
Well, it just seems like it's been forever. When you talk about 50 games, doesn't seem like a lot, but it sure is.
Ball 4, and Martin walks on 4 pitches. And with 2 away and a runner on first, Hamels now will face the left-handed hitting James Loney.
This is a big ball game here. You want to get to where you start to win the series. You're not going to be able to be in first place or even think about postseason until you start winning 2 out of 3. That's your goal there. When you split, now you got to go on and win that series. You start winning 6, 7, 8 series in a row, and then you're going to end up starting to cook. You end up getting some winning streaks involved with that, whether 5, 6, 7 games. But you got to win the series.
Oh, the Phillies really haven't played well here at home. I mean, they're 8-11 so far this year at Citizens Bank Park. You know, this is already their 20th game in Philadelphia.
And usually at home, even teams that will take last place will play good at home. And you don't want anybody coming in your house and, you know, slapping you around. Yesterday and last night's ball game, Dodgers coming back with a little bit of revenge, doing some running themselves.
The Phillies this year have played the Braves twice at home, as Chad Durbin is up and loosening, the Padres, the Brewers, the Nationals, and the Mets go along with the Dodgers. And they've got Martin picked off. And you see Ryan Howard almost was deep, but he hangs on, taps him on the back, and the inning is over. Boy, base running was so good the first 2 games of this series, and it seems like they've
Little League.
Yeah, it just seems like it's a totally different game. 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. By McDonald's. Introducing McDonald's McCafe coffees. Try hot or cold iced mochas, lattes, and cappuccinos. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by your local Chevy dealers. Final game of this 3-game series. Phillies have won just 1 series here at home so far, and they're looking for number 2 today against the Dodgers. And we have had some base running problems today, Sarge.
Yeah, well, that happens. And a lot of times with the base running, when you have those kind of blunders, it's simple. It's mental concentration. You got to be able to concentrate.
Well, Joe Torre and Charlie Manuel are probably
shaking their heads is what they're doing.
Joe doesn't show a whole lot of emotion. Charlie doesn't really show a whole lot of emotion either, but we've seen some from Torre today.
Tough enough to get runners on base in a scoring position without really running yourself out of them. But hey, we've seen it before, and Cole came back in fine fashion. As you take a look at Charlie to get them 1, 2, 3, sort of.
Sort of. Here's Chase Utley, who's down in the count 0-1. And Chase hits one foul on the right field line. And it's 0-2.
You know, both pitchers have done a pretty good job in keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate. Billingsley getting tough strikeouts. That's what you can do. You get runners on. You like those pitchers that can strike hitters out, because then you lessen your damage.
Well, here at Citizens Bank Park, along with Gary Matthews, I'm Tom McCarthy. Final game of this 3-game series. Another sellout crowd. A lot of activity out there at Ashburn Alley. A lot of folks standing, watching the game. Give a chance to take a step away from not only work, but also some school. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Chase down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, David Montgomery, the president, very happy about the sellouts and applauds the fans, knowing that it wasn't great weather early on, and fans still come out to see the fighting Phils. Have such a good team. Just really haven't caught their stride in hitting as of yet.
Chase Utley a little late on that one. Well, we've talked so much about Jimmy Rollins and his struggles, Sarge, but it's kind of carrying over now. I mean, Chase has really struggled this homestand. He's 3 for 21, 0 for 9 in the series. And what do you see from him?
Just not hitting the ball, making solid contact, but a lot of times too, which you don't want. You know, I don't like to do that. You got to give the pitcher a little bit of credit. They've really been pitching him tough. Again, once they start to roll collectively as a group, it becomes a lot easier. Well, that's why you have tough at bats. You wear the pitcher down mentally. You swing first pitch, and you should be able to square those balls up because most hitters are looking at fastballs.
Outside 3-2. What do you think about Chase that's kind of surprising during this homestand is the fact that he has struck out as many times as he has.
And I think too, if you look at some of those tapes too, though, that he was striking out on, those are some really pretty good pitches.
I'll buy that.
And breaking balls from the left-handers mostly. I'm sure they're sick of looking at left-handed pitching.
Another strikeout as Chase goes down swinging. That's the 3rd straight strikeout for Billingsley. He now has 8 in the game. And there's 1 away for Ryan Howard. Time to take a look at our Firestone leaders. We were talking about Joe Torre, and that's where Joe sits. It's among the all-time winningest managers in baseball history. 20 wins behind Sparky Anderson. Connie Mack, of course, leads the way, and he's going to be tough to catch. Tony La Russa, Bobby Cox, active leaders right now. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. And speaking of Tony La Russa and Joe Torre yesterday was asked about the All-Star game this year, and Charlie Manuel has apparently asked Joe, as Ryan Howard will be retired on the slow roller, to be one of his coaches in this year's All-Star game in St. Louis. And Torre was pretty excited about it. He said, I'm definitely going. I'm honored to be asked. It'll be fun. It's in St. Louis, and going back there will be nice. And Torre played 18 years for the St. Louis Cardinals, managed there as well, was the MVP in 1971. So you would assume that since Torre is going to be on the staff and it's in St. Louis, and usually the honor goes to the host city's manager, that he's on the staff as well. I mean, Charlie's going to have over 4,000 wins along with his 500 plus that are going to be alongside him. What
an honor to be able to go back and manage. Charlie going in and doing those duties, having great coaching staffs. And it's always a fun time too when you go there and you're sitting around looking at all the different stars. As players, you finally believe that you do belong.
Here's Jason Worth, who has struck out twice today. Well, Sarge, you played in 1 All-Star game.
Yep. I played in 1 All-Star game, but I got told several times if they could pick one more player, I'd be the guy.
You get anything for that?
You get nothing for that.
You get 3 days off is what you get, right?
That's exactly what you get. Oh, boy. But it is an honor, and the one time I did play in it in Seattle, didn't get any hits, and then I was able to see Junior play in Pittsburgh, and he ended up getting a hit. He was 1 for 2 that game. So he's finally done something that I haven't done there, in the major leagues. But that was really an honor to be able to see him go on and hit. Go ahead.
All right, in defense of Junior, I don't think you ever climbed the center field wall in Arlington to catch.
I'm going to have to get some tapes out for you, but it wasn't in Arlington. Okay, and this was Chris Wheeler would testify to that. I mean, let me tell you something. I'm getting a bad reputation there because in San Francisco with that wind blowing, anybody would have a difficult time in catching the balls there. Let me tell you. some of the greatest catches of all time, I think.
3-2 the count to Worth. No, I'm not saying that you didn't catch balls.
Yeah.
I'm saying you didn't climb the wall like Junior did.
Like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that. I'll admit that I didn't go up on the wall like that, but
And Worth is down on strikes looking. That's the 9th strikeout of the day for Jason Worth. So the Phillies offense sputtering a little bit here against Chad Billingsley. But again, as Sarge said, tip your hat to the pitchers. We go to the 7th.
Had the circus on and off the field today, it looks like. There's been some crazy stuff going on in this game, especially with some of this bizarre base running. But it's still 1-1. Both the starters are still in the game. It's turned out to be both of them pitched pretty well. You see Cole Hamels with 8 strikeouts. That is our Verizon Wireless game summary time, as he has just thrown pitch number 94.
Well, he has struck out 8. Chad Billingsley has struck out 9 in today's game. Here's James Loney to lead things off at the top of the 7th inning. Hamels is due to bat 4th in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, the teams have, they both had some shots, and they both kind of run themselves out of innings. It's really been a weird game.
That one's hit in the air to right field. It's pretty deep, and the Dodgers are going to have the lead. A solo home run for James Loney, his 2nd one in as many days, and the Dodgers lead it 2-1.
He hit a changeup.
Well, he went right down and got that one and just golfed it out of the yard.
Well, that's why a lot of times left-handed pitchers don't throw left-handed hitters changeups, because they're low ball hitters, most of these guys, and a lot of times it'll come down and in. Let's see where the location of this one is. Yep. They just kind of golf those pitches, and that's what Loney did, and he hit it well, deep to right center field.
So 2-1, Dodgers lead it. Next pitch to Matt Kemp is lofted to shallow right. 1 away. It's only the 2nd home run allowed by Hamels this year. He kind of just dropped his shoulders as soon as that ball hit the bat.
No, he crushed that. There's no doubt about where that was headed.
Here's Casey Blake, who's got a couple hits today and a run scored. He scored a run back in the 3rd. So the Dodgers lead it 2-1. It's their 7th base hit of the day. Phillies last night were held to just 3 hits by the starter Randy Wolf. They've been held to 3 today as Chad Durbin continues to loosen in the pen.
Billingsley is in the on-deck circle for the Dodgers. He's really used that curveball when he needed. We talked about that early in the game, that's his pitch, and He went after Rollins and Victorino in a big spot and got them both to swing over it.
That's the inning that's a killer for the Phillies because they kind of got a break with the error by Billingsley and had 2 runners on with nobody out.
When you get the 8 and 9 get on, nobody out, almost always do major damage, and they got nothing out of it.
3-1 to Blake. Change up, pulled toward third. Easy hop for Feliz. 2 away.
Well, both these guys are strikeout pitchers, and they have been doing it today. Hamels, his best pitch is a changeup. Now, Billingsley's gotten strikeouts with some fastballs, too, as has Cole. But there's that one curveball, that back foot curveball, and a breaking ball there. Billingsley has 9, Hamels has 8, and when you pitch like that, you can really minimize the damage because you don't let anything happen with all those strikeouts.
See what Billingsley's line is: 3 hits, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts in 6 innings of work. And he's down to the count 0-2 in this at bat.
Well, no matter what happens here, Hamels is back pitching really well, and that's a huge plus for the Phillies. They're not scoring any runs here today, but he has real good stuff, and he's maintained it throughout the game.
Well, that's his 9th strikeout of the afternoon. He is probably done. The Dodgers, meanwhile, taking the lead and giving Billingsley a 1-run margin to work with as we stretch here in the 7th inning, and the Phillies get set to come to bat. Come on, Fanatic, bring it over. Which 2 players hold the Los Angeles Dodgers record for most doubles in their first 3 full seasons? What do you got, Wheels?
I can't. I mean,
come on, throw it up against the wall.
Raul Mondesi.
That's only 1.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Come on, you knew Raul Mondesi.
How about Ethier?
Come on. You looked it up. 90 in their first 3 years.
Well, you
log back on the Phillies.com.
You prompted me to take another shot.
Yeah, but you knew it. You looked up in the media guide. Find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. I should force you to give me the answer right after I ask the question, not let you linger until the 7th inning. Well, Chad Billingsley has lingered into the bottom of the 7th inning here. He's got 9 strikeouts, and he's ahead 0-1 to Raul Ibanez. Raul's got a base hit and a walk and a ground out to first. As Loney gets to the bag first, and there's 1 away. Well, these lucky fans are today's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. One away here in the bottom of the 7th inning, as Pedro Feliz will bat for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2. And the count is 0-1. And Billingsley basically has been doing a lot of that today. He's been working ahead of the hitters to start things off.
Right-handed hitters are really struggling against him. And he's very tough on them and has been since the beginning. He settled down a little bit, but they still have had shots at him and not been able to do anything. Dodgers really want to get Broxton into this game in a save situation. He has not pitched in this series, and he's their guy. He Pedro in the 7th inning or later has been very good this year.
Two and two the count to Pedro. That pitch by Billingsley was, there's Broxton. It kind of built the same way. Broxton's a little taller though than Billingsley is.
Yeah, Broxton's more a offensive tackle build,
right,
or an end.
Billingsley's a tight end.
Man, Billingsley's built like a center.
Chopper toward the middle for Call with a nice play and a spin in time to get Feliz. 2 away, and that's 7 straight retired by Billingsley. Major League Baseball and People Magazine are looking for individuals who have made a difference in their community. 30 everyday All-Stars will be honored at the 2009 All-Star Game in St. Louis. To nominate, go to peopleallstars.com.
Ryan Madsen heating up the Phillies bullpen, and Greg Dobbs on deck. Nice play by Furcal, who can still cover a lot of ground. One time, no shortstop could throw with this guy, and there are a few that can right now.
Yeah, he had like Sean Dunston's sometimes strength at shortstop.
Unbelievable arm strength.
Billingsley splits throughout the game. His one big inning, or 2 big innings, were the 2nd when he threw 21 and the 5th when he threw 22. Other than that, he's in pretty good spot.
Threw 115 his last out in 7 innings. So he's right on about the same pace today.
He lost that game to the Giants 3-1. It was the first time that the offense really hadn't responded for him. They haven't really responded today, but enough to have a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
They do not have a left-hander up in the bullpen. I think that's Wade out there.
It is Corey Wade.
Yeah, Corey Wade, a right-hander warming up. Dobbs is the on-deck batter.
And 3-2 the count. I got a piece of Russell Martin. There's Corey Wade. Did a nice job last year at his first year in the big leagues. An ERA that was just over 2.5. Greg Dobbs is waiting on deck. Like the Fanatics trying to get Billingsley's attention. And ball 4. Maybe he distracted him enough to throw 4 pitches out of the strike zone. Ruiz walks for the 2nd time. And Dobbs is going to be called back. And it'll be Matt Stairs who will be announced as the pinch hitter against Billingsley. I guess that makes sense, you know. Another good fastball guy. against a fastball hitter in Stairs.
And you may see a lot of curveballs. Interesting that Joe Torre obviously would rather this matchup of a pitcher who's thrown this many pitches against Stairs than the guy he has warming up, a fresh right-hander. We mentioned there's no left-hander available. There's no left-hander up right now, so Charlie Manuel's taking a shot with Stairs.
See Stairs' numbers as a pinch hitter, 7 for 18.
Didn't have to worry about bringing Stairs up and then a left-hander coming into the game and then maybe hitting for him.
He does throw a curveball and it's in for a strike. It's 0-1.
Now, you wouldn't think that he would give him a fastball to hit. I mean, he may throw him one, but not in the strike zone.
Phillies trying to tie this ball game up. They trail at 2-1, and they have had base runners against Billingsley. Not an overwhelming amount, but they have had chances. Another off-speed pitch, another strike. This one on the outside corner.
Well, you go curveball, and you see Stairs shake his head like that's not a strike, and it's not. I mean, that pitch looped the plate. That pitch is outside. Another one.
Try to go in the same spot. This one was a little farther outside, so it's 1-2.
You know, they're just working in with hooks.
Billingsley must have cleared some cobwebs from his outing here at Citizens Bank Park last year.
He's been good today. No, they've helped him a lot too. You know, he chased a lot of bad balls and some bad base running.
Stairs does get a pitch that he could drive, and he fouls it off. It's a fastball at 89 miles an hour.
Well, his fastball's not overpowering, but he has some movement on it. But what he uses it for is to set up that hook.
Stairs now works the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the order is due up. Jimmy Rollins in the on deck circle. Jimmy's having a conversation with somebody in that first row. Phillies have come from behind more often than anybody else in the National League for a victory. You need to do so here, down 1. And Stairs chops one foul. See if she gives it to the youngster again, see if he keeps it.
There's Billingsley.
121 pitches today.
You mentioned he had 115 his last time out, 114 I guess. It said 115 on their stat sheet. But he is certainly at his high with 121 and still battling Matt Stairs here.
Just missed that one. It's 3-2. So Ruiz will be off and running. One to the gap might tie this game up.
Still has not given him a fastball in the strike zone. And you know what he throw 3-2 hooks to Rollins and to Victorino, and they both swung at him. You think the Stairs would get one here?
Joe Torre's getting himself ready. He's going to pull Billingsley if he loses Stairs here. Loney's going to play behind Carlos Ruiz, so he'll get a good jump. The 123rd pitch of the day for Chad Billingsley. Let's see if Stairs gets one that he likes. Ruiz goes 3-2, hit in the air, straightaway center field. Kemp goes back, has room, makes the catch, and the inning is over. So the Phillies strand one more. Matt Stairs got a pitch he could drive, and he just missed hitting it on the barrel of the ball, of the bat. And the Phillies are retired here in the 7th. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. And by W.B. Mason. Who but W.B. Mason for amazingly low office product prices. 7 in the books here at Citizens Bank Park. It's one of the best seats in the house. Is right down the right field line. In those sections 102 through 106, Chad Billingsley Day is most likely done. In fact, it probably is done. Ryan Matson is the new pitcher for the Phillies. And Matson in his 15th game. He's 2-1 with a 2.51 ERA. And he's on to face the top of the order. Cole Hamels this afternoon. He pitched well. Boy, he pitched well. 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. And he threw 110 pitches.
One of the things we noticed early with him with a number of foul balls, 110 pitches, but 19 foul balls. So, you know, when a team does that to you, run up your pitch count a little bit, and that's what the Dodgers were able to do.
He did get some fast innings in the middle of this ball game. Here's Juan Pierre, who was 0 for 2 with a sacrifice, and he hits the first pitch down the left field line. Ibanez got a good jump. Oh, at the last minute, he had to leap into foul territory. Well, there's one away.
I think he misread where the stands were there. Here he goes. He took a peek. Now he slows up, and he thought those stands would come a little bit quicker than they were. So he leaps for it, and all of a sudden he went, oh, man, I had a little more room.
One out. Here's for Call. He has singled. He's been on base twice. He reached on an error by Jimmy Rollins. That resulted in the first run for the Dodgers. Swing and bunt, and he bunts a foul. He used to do that all the time. All the time.
Yeah, he used to try and just slap it by the third baseman. He would get some doubles doing that, too, because he was so fast.
Dodgers will head to Florida after this series is over to take on the Marlins. Then they return home. They'll face the Mets. Phillies hit the road beginning tonight when they head to Washington. They'll take on the Nationals in a 4-game series this weekend. A day-night doubleheader on Saturday. As Wade continues to loosen in the bullpen for the Dodgers, he'll most likely pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. Ibanez with a second chance of this inning. 2 away. Well, fans, if you're looking to get some tickets for some of the upcoming games here at Citizens Bank Park, one of the best ways to do it is the Grand Slam 4-pack. You can pick the Red Sox, the Mets, the Friday fireworks games, or the Bradledge bobblehead, and then add 3 more. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Great way to see some of the tougher games here at the ballpark. Orlando Hudson is happy that Cole Hamels' day is done because he got him 3 times on strikes. And 1 more and he'll be wearing Sarge's golden sombrero.
Yeah, he's batting right-handed all those times, of course, against Hamels, and he really wore him out with that changeup today. Looks like they're planning on going Corey Wade and Broxton if everything goes right for the Dodgers today, because Wade just stopped warming up and he was still throwing when this inning began. A right-hander.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Cubs and the Padres are tied at 1. Adrian Gonzalez has blasted his 14th home run for the Padres. That game's in the bottom of the 4th inning. San Diego's in 4th place in the National League West, already 9.5 games behind the Dodgers. And how about that Central, Wheels? We showed those standings before. The Reds, the Brewers, and the Cardinals all tied for the top spot. And then there's the Cubs, who are half a game out, but, you know, even in the loss column.
They have some teams over 500 in that division, too. Their division's playing pretty well. The Pirates are playing well for a while. They kind of went backwards.
Yeah, they've won 2 in a row, but 8 of 10 is what they lost. By the way, Gonzalez' home run. He's homered in 4 consecutive games for the Padres. And he's taken over the league lead in homers, 1 ahead of Albert Pujols. Guy used his hat. He catch a souvenir.
Better than breaking your fingers.
Back toward the middle, under the glove of Matson. And Utley gets it, but he's not going to be able to get Hudson. And Orlando Hudson's got a base hit. After 3 strikeouts, it's probably going to feel pretty good that he got an infield single. Hey, this game will encore tonight at 7 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet, and tonight at 10:30 on the Comcast Network. Good to see 7 strong innings from Cole Hamels again. The unfortunate thing is Cole's right now on the losing side of this ball game.
Well, this was one of those games you set up as a pitching duel today, and a lot of times they don't turn out that way. And today, that's exactly what happened.
You know, and it didn't look that way in the first. The way Billingsley was throwing, he was kind of trying to find his way.
As we said, I thought he was a little uncomfortable out there for a while. He's pawing around at the mound a lot, looking down at areas. You know, and then he made pitches when he had to, even after he made that mistake on the bunt. And he got 2 strikeouts after that. And then the Phillies, then they ran themselves out of some stuff today too.
There is Billingsley. Over 120 pitches in today's game. And Ethier is ahead in the count 1-0. Ethier's 0 for 6 in his career against Ryan Matson. Phillies are 1 game under 500 here in the month of May. And they just haven't found any kind of rhythm. You know, Charlie Manuel's been trying to get his offense or his pitching to catch up with his offense. Now the offense is, you know, sputtering a little bit these last few days.
Well, 8-11 at home is poor.
Considering they were 48-33 last year at home.
Right. You know, you just have to play well over 500 at home if you're going to be a good team. And the sellouts one after another. The fans have been great coming out, but they just have not responded at home.
There's a strike, so it's 2-1. Well, here's the rankings for the Phillies during the month of May. Batting average is .227. It's amazing that there are 2 teams that have a worse batting average than the Phillies. They've averaged just under 5 runs per game. That's not awful. 5 runs per game.
Yeah, but that's offset by that bottom number that we had up there, that earned run average of giving up 5 runs a game.
Right. Well, Matson's got it even 2-2 to Andre Ethier. Now, all that said, the Phillies began play today just a game back in the National League East.
Yeah, well, nobody got, you know, one team got off to a real hot start. Florida came back to earth. Mets have had a run, and, you know, they've lost a couple. The Mets are out in the West Coast now. In fact, they're going to play the Dodgers on their swing
next week. Yeah, they play the Giants this weekend. It's 4 against the Giants, and you know that's the Giants are right now in 2nd place, but they've got they got some pretty good hurlers out there.
They face Lincecum and Kane. That's tough.
3-2 the count to Ethier. That's the thing. The Phillies are hitting the road, and they've got the Nationals for 4, and then the Reds and the Yankees. I mean, it's not an easy road trip, but still, you know, you might be able to make up some ground considering who the Mets have to face and the fact that they've got to face the Giants for 4 games.
Yeah, they just, you know, the Phillies are just kind of hanging around right now. There's just there's nothing that you look at and, you know, it is real good. Everything's just kind of okay or poor.
Hudson will be off on this pitch. There he goes. And Ethier loops one to left. Here comes Ibanez. He's not going to get there. His throw to third hits Hudson and rolls away. It's going to allow Ethier to go to second base. Hudson holds up at third.
That was a mistake by Ibanez because he really didn't have much of a shot at Hudson with 2 outs. You know, you really want to get that ball back into second base, keep the force in order. And it almost turned into a disaster when it bounced away, but it was backed up well.
Well, it's the first error of the season for Raul Ibanez. And it's the second error of the game for the Phillies.
See right here, he tries to fake Hudson, but he's not going to get him. And then the throw hit Hudson, it looked like.
Yep.
And see it, they backed it up well, though, and Hudson stays there at third. Larry Ball keeps him there. And he gets the error, of course, for the runner moving up to second base. But that's one of those. There've been a lot of poor decisions on both teams today.
Now Matz is going to try to quiet Russell Martin with 2 outs. The Dodgers have put this little run together here in the top of the 8th inning with 2 men down.
Well, the way the Phillies are going offensively right now, they don't give up anything else.
Pop up. It's a shallow right. And Worth will put it away for the final out. He did a little dance before he was able to grab that one. The top of the order is due up as we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's Rollins, Victorino, and Utley. .com/Phila Phillies for insider and fun facts. Right now, check out the great offer for Memorial Day, May 25th, when the Marlins come to town. That's the start of a 3-game series. There are tickets available for the first 2 games of that series. You can log on right now. Wheels, have you gotten into Twittering at all?
No, I do not Twitter.
You sure?
Positive.
All right.
No matter what you've heard. Whoever that idiot is that's doing that. I don't have anything against Twittering, but no. So that is not me.
We should get you your own Twitter spot.
I don't have any interest in anybody. Think anybody cares that I'm having a hoagie.
You do enjoy a hoagie every once in a while, though.
I like a tuna hoagie more than anything, but who cares?
Here's Corey Wade, who's coming into his 10th game. No wins, 2 losses, a 5.59 ERA. And Wade is on for Chad Billingsley.
I could Twitter that I did just spend some time with Christopher Guest and Michael McKean today of Spinal Tap. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean,
those guys are in town to do a show at the Keswick tonight. Sold out show. Saw them between innings. John Brazier brought them around, so they're big baseball fans.
And Michael McKean is, of course, of
Lenny
of Lenny and Squiggy fame. Here's Rollins, who's 1 for 3. And It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Jimmy Rollins. How long are they at the Keswick Theater?
Just tonight.
Just tonight?
They were in Washington last night. Had a great time, they said. They're just having fun with it.
He pulls that one toward the hole, but the Gold Glover Hudson is there. And there's one away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Pretty good right side of the infield for the Dodgers. Talk about the Phillies defense being so good. The Phillies defense has committed just 10 errors this year, 2 in today's ball game.
And with nobody on base, you can see how deep they could play there with the 1-run lead. You know, you have a man on base, you cheat for a double play, that shoots a ball through. So that's the whole difference in playing with no men on base or with somebody on.
Victorino 0 for 2. And he takes one for a strike. It's 0-1. You look at Corey Wade and you kind of think, because the Phillies don't see the Dodgers that often, that this guy is a rookie this year, but he's not. I mean, he had a very good season last year out of the bullpen.
Yeah, we saw him in the postseason. He has a real good changeup.
He's ahead 0-2.
They're getting Will Oman up now with Utley on deck, and also there's no doubt who that is doing out there. That's Broxton along with him.
As Chase Utley waits on deck. Might be who they have Oman up for, as the lefties do up for the Phillies. Wade last year in 55 games had a 2.27 ERA.
You see that changeup, and that's why he's pretty effective against left-handed hitters, because he has a good one.
Call's going to have to hurry, and he just gets Victorino. 2 outs here at the bottom of the 8th inning. Rafael Furcal, even as he's gotten a little older, has still been able to play that position. He's made a couple very good plays today.
Right, Joe Torre just got off his chair down there in the dugout, maybe taking a little loop around. There's Furcal, and that's a great arm, and guns down Victorino.
Made a nice play today behind the second base bag. He made a nice play grabbing a ball from James Loney at second base in a double play.
And they will not bring Oman in.
Well, Chase is 0 for 2. He struck out twice today. He has struck out a dozen times now on this homestand.
He's not swinging real well, obviously.
Swings pretty well on that one and sends it in the air to deep right field. Ethier is back, has room, makes the catch right at the scoreboard. A little bit of topspin on that one. It didn't lift up, and the Phillies are retired in order here in the 8th inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils. As we go to the top of the 9th, it'll be Loney, Kemp, and Blake for the Dodgers. Second straight ball game that they've managed only 3 base hits against the Dodgers starting pitcher. They trail at 2-1, and the fans thought maybe Chase Utley had something to finish off the bottom of the 8th inning. That's a great reaction and a great shot by that camera down the right field line. Andre Ethier was able to get back to the wall, make that catch. And
Well,
now as we head to the 9th inning, Brad Lidge will come on.
As you said, Tom, he hit it off the end of the bat and just didn't get any lift on it. Had some top spin and just died.
Well, Wheels, this is the 15th game for Brad Lidge. No wins, a loss, an 8.56 ERA. And how about the fact that this is his 9th non-save situation already this year?
The season just has a weird feel to it.
Sure does.
Early on, and that's one of the things right there that is it's just bizarre that that's the way he's being used, and it's out of the fact that they have not had save situations for him.
Well, he'll face the bottom part of this order for the Dodgers. It's 6, 7, and 8, beginning with James Loney, who his home run is the decisive blow right now. It was a solo shot back in the 7th inning against Cole Hamels, and that's why the Dodgers lead it 2-1. Brad has thrown his slider for strikes of late. His fastball has been still a little hit and miss.
Well, trying to stay to 1 run here because they'll be facing Broxton in the 9th inning, who's been very good this year, and they will be getting some fastballs to hit.
There is Jonathan Broxton. He is the closer now for the Dodgers. Took it over halfway through last season when Takashi Saito went down with an injury. 1 year ago, Brad Lidge is 0. He had a lot of run by this time.
Yeah.
A 0.50 ERA. 2-2 the count.
Some good fastballs he's thrown today. Some of the better fastballs we've seen from velocity wise.
Slider, pop up. He's going to defer to Jimmy Rollins. Well, that turned into a tougher play with the wind taking it back. 1 away here at the top of the 9th inning.
This is one where the outfielder a lot of times will try and call off an infielder on this. Ibanez not quite there. And as Tom said, the wind started to really take that ball back and made it a very difficult play for Rollins.
So 1 out here at the top of the 9th inning. Yeah, the batter is Matt Kemp, who's 1 for 3. That was a slider that got away from Lidge. Wheels, it does seem though that the slider has been decent for Lidge. It's just been the fastball that he's having trouble with, isn't it?
Exactly, and the fastball sets up the slider.
There's a slider that misses inside. 2-0.
He's fighting Miller a little bit right now, or Nelson, the home plate umpire, a little bit.
Line drive to left field. Here comes Ibanez off his glove, and it's going to shoot back toward the warning track. Kemp can fly, and he's going to wind up going to third. Ibanez's throw comes into Jimmy Rollins. And that's going to be a triple for Matt Kemp, his league-leading 4th of the year.
There's just been mistakes in this game today by both sides. And, you know, Ibanez, he's trying to make a play there. But the thing with a 1-run lead in the 9th inning at home, you want to make sure the ball stays in front of you if you can't catch it. Here he comes. He can't get there. And now his body is not in front of it because he had to reach for it. And it bounces away from him. Victorino can't get there in time. And Kemp is so fast that he's able to get around to third base with that play. But once again, it's a mistake, and there have been mistakes on both sides.
So now with Kemp on third and the Phillies trailing it by 1, they have no choice but to play the infield in here in the top of the 9th inning with 1 out for Casey Blake.
Such a big run that you don't want to give up here. Mark Loretta will come out and bat for Corey Wade, the pitcher.
As Markey's pinch hit twice so far in the series. Up high, 2-0. Brad so far here in this month of May has allowed 6 earned runs in 5 innings of work. He's already allowed 13 earned runs this year. He allowed 15 all of last year. Kent's going to get another run home. Victorino is going to go back. He'll be under it to make the grab, but Kent's going to trot home from third, and the Dodgers are going to lead it 3-1.
And that's falling behind 2-0. One of those have to counts, have to throw a strike, and he did, and Casey Blake got the job done. So, you know, we just see that shot of Raul Ibanez. He knows what he did was a mistake by not keeping that ball in front of him. And now it's a run. Here's Blake, got a fastball right down the middle and got the job. As we mentioned, got the job done by hitting the fly ball center field.
He's going to be congratulated by Matt Kemp, who should be congratulated for his speed. Boy, he was flying around the bases. So instead of Mark Loretta, Brad Lidge is going to face Xavier Paul with nobody on here at the top of the 9th inning. So Corey Wade pitches a scoreless bottom of the 8th inning. And Paul 1 for 3 so far this year, after being called up when Manny Ramirez was suspended by Major League Baseball. 0-1 the count. Looper to left center field, and here comes Victorino. He's not going to get there. Takes it on a bare hand. Paul's trying for second. He's going to get there. And Xavier Paul has a pinch hit double, and he went in kind of awkwardly at second base with that slide.
I don't know whether you're trying to do a pop-up slide or fall away slide to stay away from the throw, but he hit the bag late. He can run too. Got good speed, fastball, kind of inside out of it.
And it kept on slicing away from Victorino.
It was late, a little bit late, and he went in with that back foot to hook it, make sure he didn't slide by the bag, and he may have turned his ankle a little bit.
He's in scoring position now with 2 away in the top of the 9th inning. Now you really need to keep this run from scoring.
Oh yeah, it's already become a problem with Broxton getting a 2-run lead. The guy's been really good this year.
Here's Juan Pierre, who is hitless in 3 official at bats. And Brad now has allowed a run in 8 of his 15 appearances this season, counting the run he's allowed here.
Yeah, and you have to cheat in. There's against Lid. You have to cheat in with your outfielders now, because you don't expect Pierre to drive it over your head, or you take a chance and you want to throw that runner out at the plate. Bo's down there at third trying to get him off second base with a walking lead. The guy looks like he can really run, Xavier Paul. Oh, a little foul ball come at him today, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. We thought you'd enjoy that.
I did.
Juan Pierre hits one pretty deep. Victorino's there, and the inning is over. But the Dodgers score 1 additional insurance run. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be power against power as Ryan Howard leads it off against Jonathan Broxton. By 2 as Jonathan Broxton enters the ball game. He has been really good this year. This is his 15th game. He's 3-0. He's got 8 saves and a 0.56 ERA. He's allowed only 2 hits in 16 innings.
Look at the punch outs too.
27 Ks
and 4 walks, so only 6 base runners.
Lefties do not have a base hit against him, and he'll face a lefty in Ryan Howard.
I guess that homer didn't leave any scars.
Nope.
Stayers hit that big home run off him last year, basically put the Phillies into the World Series. And, you know, sometimes that can have an effect on a guy. You never know. But he has certainly come out this year as Broxton and pitched great for them.
Yeah, lefties' wheels are 0 for 26 against Broxton this year.
Yeah, and right-handed hitters hitting 083.
Well, so he's been pretty good. 7 2/3 scoreless. He's only appeared in 4 games here in the month of May. So he'll face Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Raul Ibanez. Last chance for the Phillies. They've only won 1 series at home this year. It was against the Nationals. That's it. And they've managed only 3 hits today against the Dodgers.
Well, with Broxton, you're not going to see anything soft. You know, he comes after hitters. Hard fastball, hard breaking ball.
And he's got it over for strike, and it's 0-1.
Started Ryan Howard with a slider. His slider somewhere can be up around 90 sometimes. That one was 87.
And the fastball is in the high 90s.
Yeah, he's 93 to 98.
Another slider, and it's 0-2. Broxton is a Georgia kid. He's 6'4". Wheels mentioned offensive lineman. He's right. He's 294 pounds.
He's a big guy. That's a big baseball player.
Yes, it is. And it's 1-2 to Ryan Howard. Never wondered if he was a starting pitcher. Broxton was at one point, like a lot of guys in the minor leagues, a starting pitcher. In fact, he made 23 starts in 04, won 11 games. Struck out 144 and 128 innings that year. Howard holds up. It's 2-2. So 3 sliders and a fastball to Ryan Howard in this at bat. Well, Brad Lidge is the leader in strikeouts per 9 innings at 12.44. Broxton is there as well, 11.66. Octavio Dotel and Billy Wagner to go along with Carlos Marmol from the Cubs. Ryan a little late on that one, but he stays alive. 99 according to our gun.
And his breaking ball, 10-mile-an-hour difference. I don't know if he throws a changeup. I don't remember any.
Not sure if he needs to.
Well, he's a perfect relief pitcher. 2 pitches.
And he got Howard on strikes. It was a high pitch, and Howard is down swinging for out number 1. A slider at 85, a 14-mile-an-hour difference between the fastball and the slider that he threw a pitch before. 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
He really geared up for the fastball with this guy, and he threw Ryan Howard a lot of sliders, chased the ball out of the strike zone here and struck him out.
Ryan's 9th inning is done. Jason Worth has struck out 3 times in today's game. And he starts him off with a fastball on the black, and it's 0-1. When Takashi Saito went down with an injury last year, it kind of sped up the process of moving Broxton into that closer's role. And he saved 14 games in the second half of the year.
They had a good situation last year because they had Beimel and Broxton that they could use late in games and then go to Saito. And then that all changed when Saito went down.
Well, and they had Wade in the 7th inning. He was moved to the 8th inning. 3 at-bats, 3 strikeouts for Worth against Jonathan Broxton. One and 2. He just blew it right by him at 99. I don't think you could find a closer right now in baseball that throws as hard as Broxton does.
He's got an unbelievable arm. And he's got tremendous control considering how big he is. He's right around the plate with his pitches.
And Worth is down on strikes for the 4th time today. Second strikeout for Broxton.
Notice he doesn't pitch inside either. He just fires. This is just, we call it old country hardball. I'm going to throw it as hard as I can. You swing as hard as you can. See who wins. They have big legs on him. Look at him push. That's a power pitch.
That sure is. 2 away. Last chance for the Phillies. And Raul Ibanez. He's 1 for 2 today. He's walked, he's singled, he's grounded out. And he takes one at the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. One ball and 1 strike the count.
They talk about that Strasburg kid at San Diego State is going to be the #1 pick in the country, or should be, depending on Washington takes him or not. There he is. He's a big, tall right-hander who they say consistently throws like this in the high 90s to 100.
Yeah, in fact, I think he hit 102 in one game.
Well, you wonder, you know, with the college games.
Ibanez gets a base hit into right center field. He'll take a big turn and hold up at first. Oh, it's only the 3rd hit given up by Broxton this year.
That guy's going to be a starting pitcher. The Washington Nationals have the 1st pick this year. But the problem is his agent is Scott Boras. And that can be a problem sometimes.
Well, there are some people that have said that Strasburg can be a closer right now in the big leagues.
Well, whoever gets him, the word is that he will be in the major leagues this year for the team that gets him.
Well, Greg Dobbs is going to be sent up as a pinch hitter. Dobbs 138 batting average, no homers and 3 RBIs. He was out in the on-deck circle earlier in the game, and Matt Stairs was sent up as a pinch hitter. 2 outs, runner on first. There goes Ibanez, and they'll let him go, and the pitch is taken inside. It's 1-0.
Right. Now that it's a 2-run game, that run doesn't mean that much to them, so they just let him go. They want all the infielders back.
Dobbs just 3 for 20 as a pinch hitter this year. No home runs.
No doubles defense in the outfield.
Outside ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
They really don't care about Ibanez. Any ball hit to an outfielder, they'll throw it right back into second base. Keep the tying run at first. And that's why they'll play deep now, trying to cut anything off and also throw back in.
Dobbs fights one off, and it's 2-1. The pitch came in at 96 miles an hour from Broxton, but it was in a really tough spot.
Yeah, pinch hitting stuff to do no matter what. But when you're not playing, and Dobbs hasn't played much, and then you got a pinch hit off a guy like this, he can be tough to catch up to.
3-1 the count to Greg Dobbs. On deck, you can see Carlos Ruiz. Phillies have Coast, Cairo, and Bruntlett left. Joe Torre and Rick Honeycutt. They've been pretty content with what Broxton has done this year. He's blown one save. Ball 4. The potential tying run is on first. Ruiz is going to bat with 2 runners on here at the bottom of the 9th inning. Carlos has swung the bat better the last couple of games. And Joe Torre is going to go out to the mound. And manager comes out in this spot. This is either a pep talk or a chewing out. Could be a combination of both.
Well, what he's probably going to try and tell him to do is stay away from him. You know, keep everything away. And if they beat, if Ruiz beats him, it's going to have to be to right and right center, because Carlos can pull the ball and hit the ball out of the ballpark. You give him something middle in. That was quick.
Went out and said, "You all right?" He said, "All right, let's go get him."
Yeah, it's basically, this is your game.
So 2 runners on here at the bottom of the 9th inning. With 2 outs. And Jonathan Broxton will face Carlos Ruiz. The cornermen protect the lines. Blake way over toward the line at third base. Loney maybe a step or 2 off of it.
Yeah, and they'll guard the line.
And there's a strike, and it's 0-1.
Carlos a couple years ago had a walk-off home run in this ballpark off Derek Turnbow of the Brewers. Hit it way out to left center field. He knew it as soon as he hit it. It's a cold night here. He turned a Derek Turnbow pitch around. Well, that guy has disappeared.
Oh, and 2.
And right down the middle with a fastball.
It's at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, it won't be soft. But, you know, you wait, you get 2 strikes on you now. This guy can do some things.
These fans just hoping that Carlos Ruiz can turn on one here. 0-2 the count. And he stays alive as he fouls that one back.
I just moved Kemp a little bit over towards right center, which is a good idea with 2 strikes. There's the center fielder. He was playing him a little bit to pull early in the count. Now he's kind of hanging around. That guy can almost play straight away center. He's like a windshield wiper out there. He is so good.
I made a couple of really good grabs last night. The ball to the gap might tie this game, because Dobbs, not being held on at first, is able to take a pretty good walking lead off first base.
He off at the crack of the bat too with 2 outs.
0-2 the count again to Ruiz. And he stays alive as he fights off a slider into the Hall of Fame deck. 21 pitches now for Jonathan Broxton in this inning.
Well, he needed some work. It's a slider. Hung it a little bit. Broxton is very competitive, they say.
Line toward right center field. Ethier going back. He's not going to get it. It takes a hop off the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes Dobb. He's heading for home, and the Phillies have tied it up. An opposite field double by Carlos Ruiz with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Wow.
Well, that's part of the thing of whether you hold the guy on at first or not. You know, in that case, you know, they're playing off him. Not that he would have scored if they'd have held him on, but 2 outs, crack of the bat, off with it, was a fastball, it looked like, away. And he got in a perfect spot in the alley out there in right center field. And watch what it does when it goes out there. Big advantage for the Phillies there because it hit that chicken wire out there and went straight down. It didn't bounce back to Ethier. So then he had to go get it. And Greg Dobbs scores.
First RBIs of the year for Carlos Ruiz. How about that?
What a great game, huh? I mean, Braxton's just blowing people away. Amazing.
Oh, that Phillies dugout is alive right now.
And he just fouled the pitch off before that. The slider, he just fouled that one off to stay alive. There's Ibanez, who got it started with 2 outs. Greg Dobbs with a nice patient at bat. Wow.
There's Chad Durbin loosening up in the pen. Eric Bruntlett now the batter. He's pitch hitting for Brad Lidge. 2 outs. The winning run is on second.
Boy, is Ethier deep and right.
And Bruntlett with a big swing and a miss, and it's 0-1.
You think they would play Ethier in closer on a guy's offside, especially because you think Bruntlett not going to hit it over his head. Look how deep he is. All this in here, you know, it gives you a heck of a chance to win the game on a base hit to right field.
Little looper.
Anything. Because when a guy's on his offside and he's swinging it and this guy's throwing this hard, the odds are he's going to hit it over there and not drive it over his head.
Ruiz a good lead off second. And that's it for strike 2. It's 0-2 to Bruntlett. Eric has not had a whole lot of at-bats with runners in scoring position. Phillies had not had a base hit with a runner in scoring position until Ruiz's double. 0-2 the count to Bruntlett. Slider high, 1-2. Charlie Manuel's offense had managed only 3 hits through the first 8 innings. They've gotten 2 big ones here.
Tie the game with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
Let's see if they can win it with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And they can't hear as Bruntlett is down on strikes, overpowered by Broxton. But this game will go on thanks to Carlos Ruiz and his 2-run opposite field double. He shot it right into the gap in right center field. It's 3-3 as we go into extra innings. Two-run opposite field double by Carlos Ruiz. We head on to the top of the 10th inning. How improbable was that? The Phillies are 2-0 in extra inning games this year. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are 1-1. And as we move to the top of the 10th inning, the new pitcher for the Phillies is right-hander Chad Durbin. Durbin in his 18th game, 1-0 with a 3.44 ERA. Now, somebody said the other day that, you know, when you come to a ball game here in Philadelphia, a lot of fans just don't leave because this team has come from behind so much. And that has continued to be true as Eric Bruntlett stays in the game to play third base for Pedro Feliz. So that means that Durbin will bat in Feliz's spot in the order, which is the 7th spot. So top of the 10th inning. It's a 3-3 game. And here's Rafael Furcal, who is 1 for 4 in today's ball game. Well, a couple of things. I mean, all those base running blunders by both teams during the course of this game have really weighed heavy on the fact that we're in extra innings.
Well, the Phillies made a couple mistakes also defensively today that hurt them. The error by Jimmy Rollins cost a run, and Ibanez misplayed that ball in the 9th inning, but he made up for it certainly by getting the 2-out base hit and getting it started, getting that rally started.
This one hit right at J-Roll. 1 away here in the top of the 10th.
And then the Phillies had chances, runner at third, less than 2 outs, and Dodgers had their chances, and just a goofy game.
We did see the Ringling Brothers folks that were here today before the ball game.
That's what I was saying. There's a circus on and off the field today.
Orlando Hudson now the batter with 1 out here in the top of the 10th inning. Hudson is 1 for 4. He has struck out 3 times. And the first pitch by Durbin. That's in for a strike, a slider, and it's 0-1. 2, 3, and 4 for the Dodgers here in the top of the 10th. The Phillies will have the top of the order in the bottom of the 10th inning. Oh, and 2 to Hudson. That's in there for a call. Strike 3. Golden sombrero for Orlando Hudson. 2 away.
We threw him a changeup that he bounced right before that, and then he throws a fastball right there and froze Orlando Hudson for his 4th strikeout of the game. Not for Durbin, but on Hudson.
Jason Worth has struck out 4 times. Hudson struck out 4 times. Each team has a representative.
This is one of those games you go back over and replay it, and it is just weird.
Well, the base running mistakes, in both teams, not just, one, but also, as you said, the defensive lapses, which you don't usually see for the Phillies. I mean, they've had 2 games this year where they've made 3 errors and 2 errors, this being the second one. Overall, they have 10 on the season.
Yeah.
I mean, today was the first day that a starter had allowed an unearned run.
Yeah, and that was on that ball that went off Jimmy's glove when he was trying to backhand for Kyle's grounder and throw quickly.
Here's the 1-2. Oh boy.
Guess that was inside, huh?
May have been a little high. 2-2.
Two changeup. A lot of times you throw 2-2, you get into a fastball count now. Nope, he didn't do it though. Looks like he threw a cutter there. It's a slider. They talk about a 2-2 changeup sometimes, or an off-speed pitch can be a trap pitch because it forces you into throwing a fastball 3-2. But a lot of guys will still throw an off-speed pitch after that, and that's what Durbin just did.
Outside ball 4, a 2-out walk for Andre Ethier.
That was a little backdoor breaking ball that missed. He's coming with another slider here, trying to catch the corner, and it's outside. It's a good job by Carlos Ruiz. He framed it, but it was ball 4.
Well, Russell Martin has been on base 3 times today. Ethier's on first. 2 singles and a walk and a fly out to right. Well, the Marlins have lost today to the Brewers. The Mets play later. A win by the Phillies would give them some breathing room against Florida. And Martin hits one toward the gap in right center field. That's going to be in for a base hit. Victorino trying to get there quickly, and he bobbles it around third. Heading for home is Ethier, and the Dodgers are going to retake the lead with 2 outs. Russell Martin with an opposite field double, and it's 4-3 LA.
Yeah, the outfielders are really deep too. It's just he hit it in a perfect spot. 2 outs. Ethier, same thing that just happened with the Phillies. He's running. Their pitch is in the middle of the plate, and Russell Martin clutch hit.
And now they're going to walk James Loney to face the right-hander Matt Kemp. Well, the Phillies got 2 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Now the Dodgers get a run with 2 outs here in the top of the 10th. Ball 3. It's not going to be Broxton in the bottom of the 10th inning. It's going to be Ramon Troncoso, who is loosening for LA, and Rich Doobie's going to come out before Matt Kemp comes to the plate for the Dodgers. Just a scouting report trip here, you think?
Well, I don't know, scouting report trip as much as let's calm down, settle down, and keep the 1 run. You know, they know how they want to pitch Kemp. You want to throw him a lot of breaking balls if you can.
Got to keep your BlackBerry clean, Wills.
Playing a little game on it, maybe.
Yep.
Once again, you know, we got into this situation before, and the Phillies tied the game as opposed to winning it by giving up that extra run. And right now, you have to try and keep this to 1 run.
Kemp has a triple today and a single in 4 official at bats. He scored the run that Wheels was talking about in the 9th inning. That gave the Dodgers the insurance run. Phillies wound up tying at the bottom of the 9th inning. And now they're going to have to come from behind again in the bottom of the 10th. And hopefully by just 1 run. There are 2 runners on with 2 outs for the Dodgers here in the top of the 10th. Like the Phillies hitters, a lot of them. Matt Kemp's done some damage late in the game. That one's into the air to left field. It's deep. Ibanez isn't going to get this one. It's a one-hopper off the wall. 1 run scores. Loney's being held at third. And it's now a 2-run lead for the Dodgers, as Matt Kemp has a single, a double, and now a triple. And it's 5-3 LA.
Well, both these rallies, Phillies did it. Now the Dodgers done it. 2 outs, nobody on base. 2 strikes on the hitter. Fastball down, and Kemp put a nice swing on it. Kershaw, who pitched the first game of the series there, still has that same hat.
Casey Blake is the batter, and Durbin starts him out 0-1. There is that hat Wheels is talking about.
He likes that hat. He's a big leaguer now. They'll give him a new one.
Dodgers now with 13 hits in this game.
Oh yeah, the Phillies are so fortunate to be in the spot where they were, but you know they did have 2 outs and nobody on with a chance to come in and win it.
Well, now it's even 2-2 to Casey Blake. So Durbin 1 out away, 1 strike away from getting out of this 10th inning. But damage has already been done. The Dodgers have scored 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks, and they've got 2 more in scoring position. And it's 3-2. And he got him. So Blake is down on strikes, but the Dodgers scored 2 runs in the inning. They strand 2. Middle of the 10th, the Phillies are going to have to come from behind again. Down 5-3. Real difference, though, is that Jonathan Broxton has pitched his way out of this game. So the hard-throwing right-hander is no longer in. But Ramon Troncoso, who has a save in 13 appearances so far, he's pitched well for the Dodgers. He'll be called upon to pitch the bottom half of the 10th inning, with the Dodgers leading at 5-3. 17 hits in 21 2/3 to go along with just 3 walks. And the Phillies will have the top of the order up against Troncoso, who was a 26-year-old from the Dominican Republic, and Matt Kemp provided the second blow in the inning for the Dodgers to give them an extra run after Russell Martin's double had broken the 3-all tie. So Jimmy Rollins will try to bring the Phillies back. The Phillies, who have won 16 games this year. And of those 16 games, 12 are come from behind victories.
Go, Jimmy!
They led at 1-0, then trailed at 2-1, then 3-1, tied it at 3, now trail at 5-3. Chad Billingsley started for the Dodgers. He went 7 strong. Cole Hamels started for the Phillies. He was strong today, too. He also went 7. Here's Rollins, and he takes a strike to start the 10th. This may not be just Troncoso's inning. because Joe Torre has the lefty Will Ullman in the pen.
Belisario,
yeah,
too.
He's got Ronald Belisario, who's up loosening too.
Right-hander.
Jimmy rolls over on one. One away. Joe Torre and Rick Honeycutt are talking about that right now. All right, Victorino's up now. Do we keep him in there? Bring in Ullman. What do you think? It's got Utley in the on-deck circle, so that may be, you know, who Ullman is up there for.
Well, if Victorino were to get on, Utley's a tying run, and you would think you'd get the left-hander then.
Shane today is hitless in 3 at-bats.
But the top two guys in the order, just are not getting on base right now. Rollins and Victorino. Makes it really tough to score runs. Your table setters aren't on.
Yeah, Jimmy 4 for 26 on this homestand. Victorino 1 for 26 and make it 1 for 27. And then Chase is 3 for 23 in the homestand. Finish the game with Michael Barkat and former Phillies closer Mitch Williams' extensive game breakdown. Plus, you get some player reactions on Sloan Toyota Presents Phillies postgame live after the game. Only on Comcast Sportsnet. 2 outs for Chase Utley. Chase is 0 for 3 with a walk in today's game. His average has dipped to 278. Not used to seeing it at 278. 0-1. He's thrown 6 pitches, and 5 have been strikes.
They're killing worms up there too, just hitting weak ground balls. The first 2 hitters.
See what Chase has done in this series alone. 0 for 11. Last strike, last out now for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Seems like we echo those same words back in the 9th inning. And that ball hit Utley. 6th time this year he's been hit by a pitch. That leads the league, so he's aboard.
That'll get Ullman in the game too, you would think.
Tying run, walks to the plate. I don't know, Joe Torre got up and then sat down.
Well, he's telling him to play back. He's not that worried about a tie game. He's more concerned with the next batter's a right-handed hitter, Worth.
This is the 7th series at Citizens Bank Park this year. Phillies have won only 1 series so far.
Yep, 3 games under 500 at this point.
Ryan Howard 0 for 3. And he starts him off with a breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1. Ryan last homered last week at Citi Field. It was a long one too.
Wind has turned around a little bit now. Well, it's hard to tell the way the flags are blowing. Looks like you get a little bit of help. Thought it was blowing more towards right, but now that flag's looking blowing straight out.
It's like the rain stopped in Center City too.
It was pretty dark out there a little while ago.
There goes Chase on the inside corner. A fastball that came back, and it's 1-2. No stolen base. Defensive indifference is what they called on Chase.
Then he caught the inside corner. It certainly was a strike where Martin caught it.
And now Martin out to the mound to talk to Troncoso. Jason Worth waits on deck. Phillies would like to get it to Jason Worth. First, though, they got to get Ryan Howard on. And he's down to the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Ryan is down on strikes, and the ball game is over. 13th strikeout of the day for the Dodgers pitching. And Los Angeles in extra innings has defeated the Phillies by a final score of 5-3. And Joe Torre's squad now 3-4 without Manny Ramirez. The Phillies now have lost 6 series here at Citizens Bank Park this season. The final score in 10 innings, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Phillies 3. Our Chevron